Chapter 304. Out of guilt towards Xing Minglan, Grandpa Xing asked Xing Xiao to inform the people of Huangyao to take care of her new company. So, those who had fooled Xing Minglan before all turned around and apologized. Not only did they come to negotiate the contract, they even invited Xing Minglan to dinner. Actually, Xing Minglan did not ask for that. She would be satisfied as long as Xing Minghui did not cause trouble. Now that the negotiation of the contract was going smoothly, she had the urge to go on a date with Jing Yun. After all, Jing Yun had done his best so that she would not be disturbed by the Xing family. Now that there was no such problem, she naturally had to think about her own personal matters. Late at night, they were working overtime. Xing Minglan finally saw Jing Yun putting away his documents. She got up from her desk and walked to him. "Let's have supper together." Jing Yun looked up at Xing Minglan. He did not refuse. "Sure, but I have to bring you somewhere first." Xing Minglan nodded. She was even a little happy. She thought that Jing Yun might have been enlightened. But when they reached their destination, Xing Minglan was suddenly puzzled. Because it was just an ordinary roadside stall. "Miss Minglan, you have never eaten something like this before, have you?" As a young lady of the Xing family, she had always been pampered. That was why Jing Yun brought her here. "But, I used to beg around here before I went to the Xing family." Xing Minglan looked a little embarrassed. "You are always like this. You pull us apart like heaven and earth." "Because it is the truth." Jing Yun turned around and looked at Xing Minglan. "Miss Minglan, although you have freedom now, what will the chairman do if he knows that you are with me? My life will only be more miserable. I am just an ordinary person. I don't want to be destroyed. So, I hope you can put your heart on someone else." Xing Minglan felt as if her heart was being cut by a knife. "Fine. You have hurt me. Although I've thought about what you've said, if one day grandfather finds out, I'll bear the consequences with you no matter how he treats you. But, since you're afraid, I have nothing else to say. Go back. After all, you don't really want to eat supper." Jing Yun's throat was burning, but he did not speak. After Xing Minglan got into the car, she had even less desire to speak. She looked out of the window, and after a while, she said to Jing Yun, "You should go back to Xing Xiao." Not only that, but she also took out the gold card from her purse. "I don't need your charity. I feel that since you don't want to face it, then there's really no need for us to meet. It'll just make us sad." Jing Yun was stunned when he saw the golden card. So, she knew everything. "Just drop me off at the entrance of the apartment. I'll hire an assistant tomorrow, so you don't have to report in." Jing Yun took a deep breath. He parked the car in front of Xing Minglan's new apartment. She quickly got out of the car. Jing Yun looked at the gold card. She had finally regained her freedom. He did not want to ruin it for her. When she got home, she gave Xing Xiao a call. "I've talked to Jing Yun tonight and told him not to come tomorrow. Don't tell him anything about me from now on. If he can't open his heart, don't force it." Xing Xiao nodded. Xing Xiao frowned when he heard that. What was Jing Yun hiding in his heart? Did he have to torture her like this? "All right. Since it's your decision, I'll do as you say. Good night, Xing Xiao." Mu Qiqi heard their conversation and knew that Jing Yun was still unwilling to be with Xing Minglan. She could only sigh. Maybe we're not fated to be together. It can't be helped if he wants to be like this. Xing Xiao hugged Mu Qiqi. The next morning, Jing Yun went to Huangyao to report in. Xing Xiao did not show any unusual reaction, but he was very disdainful of Jing Yun. "What kind of sadomasochistic love are you playing? Young master, what are you afraid of when I'm here?" Xing Xiao asked in return. "I'm telling you, fourth sister called last night and told you not to pay attention to her in the future. Otherwise, it'll be difficult for everyone. By the way, I've returned fourth sister's gold card to you, right?" Jing Yun nodded. "That's right. The young lady of the Xing family pursued you and was rejected. You've got guts. Jing Yun tilted his head and said nothing. I'm warning you, fourth sister is trying to tell you that you've missed your only chance to open her heart. No matter who she meets in the future, it has nothing to do with you. If you want to continue being an ascetic, then go ahead. I'd like to see how long you can last. How retarded was this blockhead when it came to love? There was actually someone in this day and age who was willing to endure a silent unrequited love? Idiot. Go to the planning department and help with the VVIP night. I don't want to see you for the time being. Jing Yun left Sheng Zhao's office dejectedly at those words. Soon, Grandpa Sheng learned about Mu Qiqi's plan for the VVIP night. After all, Huang Yao belonged to him. It was easy for him to know about the event beforehand. Of course, Sheng Zhao did not intend to hide it from him. Since he knew the old master's purpose, he would openly show the old master how ingenious the plan for this event was. Grandpa Sheng read the plan. Of course, he could not find anything to nitpick. He also believed that Mu Qiqi had done it all by herself. Because Sheng Zhao's style was completely different. A 19-year-old girl's work was so creative. He didn't know if she was too smart, or if she was just lucky. Whatever the case may be, the old man was even more wary of Mu Qiqi. After all, there would be other women by Sheng Zhao's side in the future, and it would be even more difficult to deal with her if she was too smart. Moreover, Sheng Zhao alone was already a headache. No matter what, this credit must not be given to her in the end. This way, the outside world's recognition of her would increase. Although he was not satisfied with Xing Minghui, she was still a Sheng. He could not let an outsider take advantage of her. After the VVIP night of Huang Yao, he would announce that Xing Minghui would be the head of the planning department. Because she was the biggest contributor to the success of the event. It was just a few days. So, he would let Mu Qiqi be arrogant for a few more days. Chapter 305. Shenrui. Shenrui was the manager of this bar. To be frank, she just wanted to learn how to flirt with men. After all, she had yet to get close to the young master of the Xing family. Minghui? Why are you drinking here? Shenrui took a glass of wine and sat in front of her. It's all because of Mu Qiqi and Xing Xiao. Let's not talk about it. Then, Xing Minghui drank another glass of wine. Didn't you just get engaged? Why are you having a hard time? It's hard with that bitch Mu Qiqi around. Xing Minghui snorted. She did the same thing in the Shen family. So, the three of us were chased out in the end. What do you think? Do you want to form an alliance? Well, I have something to ask of you. I have something that I want to achieve. How do you want to form an alliance? Introduce your eldest brother to me. I will help you to deal with Mu Qiqi. At least, she won't be able to enter the Xing family as long as we are here. Shenrui went straight to the point. Do you know why I'm suffering here? It's so that I can enter the Xing family one day and fight with Mu Qiqi. Are you kidding me? My eldest brother is married. Isn't there a lot of womanizing going on outside? If so, what's the difference if I join him? Shenrui gave her phone number when she saw that Xing Minghui did not want to join. Call me when you have made up your mind. Anyway, you still have to suffer some losses before you know how powerful that little bitch is. Shenrui did not say anything else. After all, she could not simply find a mistress for her eldest brother. What would happen if Grandpa Sheng knew about it? Her grandfather already hated her enough now. If she didn't keep her place, she would never be able to step into Huang Yao's door. So, Xing Minghui forgot about Shenrui after she returned to the Xing family. When Grandpa Sheng saw her coming back drunk, he said angrily, "Are you going to take over the planning department of Huang Yao like this?" "Grandpa, I'm just not feeling well. From tomorrow onwards, stay at home and read the documents. You don't have much time." Everything was ready for the VVIP night. She just had to wait for that night to avenge herself. After the preparations were done, the staff of the planning department strongly requested for Mu Chichi to go to Huang Yao for one last meeting with everyone. If anything unexpected happened, they would be able to react accordingly. Now, the people in the planning department seemed to have recognized Mu Chichi's method and her ability. However, Grandpa Xing did not intend to let Mu Chichi interfere with the VIPs of Huang Yao anymore. Even though he knew that the planning department needed it, he could only ask Mama Xing to appease them. When Xing Minghui heard about it, she took the initiative to ask Grandpa Xing. "Grandpa, since the event is almost ready, can you let me take a look at the venue and show my face? Just leave the meeting with the staff to me. Anyway, I will be there on the day of the event. It will be good for everyone to get to know each other." Grandpa Xing thought about it and felt that Xing Minghui was right. So, he nodded and agreed. "If that's the case, you can go to the planning department for the last meeting. Have you read the proposal in detail?" "Yes, Grandpa." The planning department received a reply from their superior. They would indeed hold a final meeting before the event. But they did not know that the person who would hold the meeting was Xing Minghui. When Mama Xing heard about it, she could not help but smirk. She said to the secretary, "For the smooth progress of the event, bring Xiao Qi here before the meeting." "Do you not trust Miss Minghui?" "Why not? But, just let her go during the meeting. Just wait and see. She is a half-baked person. She will only be despised by the staff in the planning department. When the time comes, I am afraid that Xiao Qi will be the one holding the fort." "I understand, madam." The secretary nodded. Mama Xing had watched Xing Minghui grow up in the Xing family. How could she not know what she was capable of? Did she want to take the credit of others just like that? It would depend on whether she had the ability or not. When Mu Chichi reached home, she heard about it from Xing Xiao. She frowned. "Are we going to have a head-on conflict with that woman again? If there is a chance to slap her, why not?" Xing Xiao asked her. "Moreover, you are the one who planned the event. Will you feel comfortable if someone criticizes your plan on the eve of the event? In the end, the credit will fall into someone else's hands. Won't you be angry?" "Xiao Xiao, don't tell me that this is Grandpa Xing's evil plan." Mu Chichi immediately understood the deeper meaning of Xing Xiao's words. "You mean it, don't you?" Xing Xiao chuckled and pinched Mu Chichi's nose. "My little one, you are so smart. Then, of course I will go. I will not let Grandpa Xing have his way. Then, before the meeting, Mom's secretary will come to pick you up." Mu Chichi nodded. She thought that this old man was really evil. How could he use such a trick to bully a 19-year-old girl? Was he not afraid of being laughed at? On the other hand, Xing Minghui was very excited because she could enter Huang Yao soon. As a young lady of Huang Yao, she was destined to be a high-ranking official once she entered. In addition, with the credit, the people of Huang Yao naturally did not dare to complain too much about her. But in fact, it was not as good as she thought. After all, Huang Yao relied on its ability. Although the planning department had not done anything in recent years, it was because they were overcautious and had too many concerns. The meeting was scheduled for the afternoon 2 days later. And Xing Minghui had already asked a luxury store to send her the latest professional suit of the season. When Grandpa Xing saw it, he could not help but snort coldly. Although she was not capable, she had quite the style. But, she was the young lady of the Xing family. So, he let her be. 2 days later, in the afternoon, Xing Minghui arrived at Huang Yao in a luxury car in a white professional suit. The people in Huang Yao had already received the notice that Xing Minghui was coming for a meeting with the planning department. So, no one dared to neglect her. At the same time, Grandpa Xing also revealed that Xing Minghui and Mu Chichi were the ones who planned the VIPs of Huang Yao together. Otherwise, Mu Chichi would not be convincing at her age. The people in Huang Yao were in awe of this soon-to-be manager of the planning department. As expected of the young lady of the Xing family. She is indeed extraordinary. So, Miss Minghui was the one who planned the activity room. Like I said, Muchichi is only 19. How impressive. She did not even ask for credit. Miss Minghui is so low-key. Chapter 306. At this moment, the people in the planning department sat up straight. They were looking forward to seeing Muchichi again. They wanted to know what kind of advice she could give them. But the person who entered the meeting room was the seventh daughter of the Xing family, Xing Minghui. Everyone put down their pens and looked at each other. What kind of trick was the higher-ups playing this time? Xing Minghui quickly sat down on the main seat. She quickly adjusted her mood and greeted everyone. Hello, everyone. I am Xing Minghui. I will be taking over the planning department soon. So, I will be the one holding the meeting today. Where is Miss Mu? She will not come to Huangyao anymore. After all, Grandpa gave her a small task. She has completed it. So, she will retire. I know that this is the last meeting of the event. If you have any questions, just ask. The people in the planning department looked at Xing Minghui. But, they could not say anything. The event was about to start. How could they send a stranger to them and ask them to listen to her? Miss Minghui, forgive me for being straightforward. Do you know the process of this event? I am the one who made the proposal. What do you think? Or else, do you think a 19-year-old girl like Muchichi could come up with such an interesting thing? Xing Minghui did not blush at all. She took the credit for the proposal. But, the people were not convinced. Since you are the one who made the proposal, why didn't you explain it to us? Why did you let Miss Mu attend the meeting? Because I was busy with other things. You are really busy with stealing your sister's fiancé. Some people rolled their eyes. Well, since you said that the proposal was made by you, we all believe you. Next, Miss Seven, please answer our questions. This time, what's the best way to present the jewelry that eldest young Master Lu gave to Madam at the heartwarming show? How should we divide the guests of the two main venues? What should we use? Age? Oh, right. We will use a Lincoln limousine to welcome the guests. What kind of red wine should we use for them? I have another idea. Xing Minghui was stunned after hearing the questions from the staff. Do you need to welcome the guests? They have their own chauffeurs. Since the plan was made by you, Miss Seven, why didn't you know that the two home games couldn't be leaked in advance? Therefore, we arranged for them to be picked up personally because we couldn't leave the address of the event on the invitation, and we also had to ensure that the guests would arrive at the venue accurately. Xing Minghui became nervous when she heard that. She had only glanced through the proposal. Who would want to admit that a 19-year-old girl could come up with something earth-shattering? I forgot, it's okay, we can help you remember. Now, Miss Seven, please make the arrangements. We are all waiting. Xing Minghui felt guilty. So, she took out the event plan and started reading it. But the audience knew very well that she was not the one who made the plan. How could someone who had made the plan forget their own arrangements? Was he trying to steal the credit? Xing Minghui just sat there for a long time without moving. Because she could not answer those questions. She thought that she was here to listen to the report and show off. Seventh young lady? Seventh miss? You've been flipping through the proposal book for almost half an hour. The staff of the planning department reminded her. If you can't answer those questions, then, let's let Miss Mu do it. Think carefully. I am the one in charge of the planning department in the future. Xing Minghui's point was immediately pointed out. She was the one in charge? Then, it was fine if they did not keep the planning department. It would be worse than before. Then, please answer our questions. At this moment, the door of the meeting room was pushed open by the secretary. Then, Muchichi walked in. Everyone's eyes brightened when they saw her. Miss Mu, you are finally here. Miss Mu, when Xing Minghui saw Muchichi, she stood up immediately. Who let you in? Get out. Mama Xing stood in front of Muchichi when she heard her. I am here. How dare you ask anyone to get out? You admit that you are not capable enough. You even spread the news that you are the one who planned this event? Xing Minghui, you are really shameless. You, Miss Mu, since you are here, please help us to solve these small problems. We are not sure. Mu Qiqi looked at their questions and answered them one by one. This set of jewelry is priceless. Of course, we will let the guests see it. Then, we will let First Madam wear the jewelry in front of everyone's envious eyes. Then, we will let eldest Lu appear. Then, age is only one part of the criteria for the 2 home stadiums. The statistics department has an analysis of their consumption. You can determine which home stadium they belong to based on the jewelry they bought, whether they are young or traditional. Then, make a list and send someone to pick them up. Don't prepare red wine in the car. Xiao Xiao has a cooperation with a perfume company. Prepare a set of high-class perfume to soothe the nerves and put a copy of the event schedule in the box. This will achieve the effect of advertising and save some money. After all, what they want to know the most is the information about the jewelry. After listening to Mu Qiqi's arrangement, everyone was convinced. The whole department burst into applause. Xing Minghui looked gloomy. Yes, yes. Actually, I want to say that too. Xing Minghui quickly added. But, who would believe her? Everyone just rolled their eyes at her in contempt. Xing Minghui, the company is not a place for you to play. You can be arrogant at home and no one can control you. But now, you are in the company. If you treat this as a game, then I advise you not to waste everyone's time. Mama Xing walked to Xing Minghui and said, there is a meeting in the planning department. Do you want to stay? Grandpa asked me to attend this meeting. She is just an outsider. Eldest aunt, you have to understand that this is the business of the Xing family. All right. Then, you can help the planning department to solve the following problems. Mu Qiqi threw the problem in front of Xing Minghui. If you can solve it, I will leave immediately. Otherwise, I can go to the Xing family and look for Grandpa Xing. I will see who he will help this time. It's not a big deal. I won't lose anything anyway. Are you threatening me, Mu Qiqi? If you don't know anything, then please shut up. Why don't you call Grandpa Xing and ask him to attend the meeting? Don't think that I don't dare to. I didn't ask you to come today. You barged in without permission. Mu Qiqi, wait for Grandpa to teach you a lesson. Then, Xing Minghui took out her phone and dialed Grandpa Xing's number. Grandpa, you should come to Huangyao quickly. I am being bullied to death. How shameless. Chapter 307. When Grandpa Xing heard Xing Minghui's aggrieved voice, he thought that the people in the planning department were too daring to disrespect the young lady of the Xing family. So, he immediately left Xing Mansion, intending to rush to Huangyao as soon as possible. On the other hand, Xing Minghui looked at Mama Sheng and Mu Qiqi provocatively after she finished her call. Grandpa is already on his way. He will reach Huangyao soon. I would like to see how you are going to explain this to Grandpa, eldest aunt. Mama Sheng and Mu Qiqi looked at each other. Then, she looked at the rest of the people in the planning department. She did not say anything but maintained her smile. Indeed, it was time for Grandpa Sheng to have a look. He wanted to see how his good granddaughter was in this meeting room. It was true that she was the young lady of the Xing family. But, she really did not have any ability. Miss Mu, will you be all right when the chairman comes later? The staff of the planning department looked at Mu Qiqi worriedly. Of course. Xing Minghui snorted. Really? Let's wait and see then. Mu Qiqi winked at her, telling her not to worry. About 20 minutes later, Grandpa Xing finally arrived at Huangyao. He went straight to the door of the meeting room. When Xing Minghui saw him, she immediately took Grandpa Xing's hand and started to complain first. Grandpa, you are the one who asked me to host this meeting, right? But, eldest aunt still brought Mu Qiqi here. She doesn't respect you at all. Mama Sheng and the people in the planning department rolled their eyes. Why did the meeting end up like this? Did Xing Minghui really not know? Grandpa Sheng looked at Mama Sheng with a sharp gaze. I arranged this, Xiao Qin. Okay, Dad. I know you arranged this. But, if seventh sister could continue with the meeting, Mu Chi-Chi would not be here. Mama Sheng said straightforwardly. Mom, since Grandpa is here, let's go out. We don't want to disturb seventh sister's meeting. After all, there are still many things in the planning department waiting for seventh sister to solve. Mu Chi-Chi quickly stopped Mama Sheng. There was no need to find trouble with Grandpa Sheng in such an occasion. He could do whatever he wanted. Okay. When Xing Minghui saw that, she immediately said to Grandpa Sheng, Grandpa, you're the best. I couldn't chase them away no matter how hard I tried. Everyone sneered, and Mama Sheng left the meeting room with Mu Chi-Chi. Xing Minghui was finally satisfied. But it did not mean that Grandpa Sheng did not see the expressions of the staff in the planning department. Since Mu Chi-Chi and Xiao Qin are gone, let's continue the meeting. I'll stay here and watch over you. The old man said as he walked to a seat. Seventh brother began to panic. Grandpa, you're here. I'm nervous. It's okay. You'll get used to it sooner or later. Let's start. You guys can start too. With Grandpa Sheng's instructions, the planning department continued with the questions. Miss Mu, you have solved 3 of them just now. Let's move on to the next one. We talked about the warmth theme just now. Now, let's talk about the fashion theme. Miss Mu, you mentioned that you want to use this opportunity to promote Huang Yao's new products. But what should we focus on? Because everyone knows that Huang Yao has a lot of new products. It's impossible to bring out all of them. The publicity department doesn't dare to make a rash decision. Miss Chi-Chi, what do you think? Seventh sister was stunned. Her body stiffened. She looked at the staff in the planning department and then at Grandpa Sheng. Then, she smiled awkwardly. Well, and, although the VVIP night of Huang Yao has a fixed time every year and almost everyone in Jianchuan knows about it, the publicity department still asked if we should come up with a new way to promote it this year. After hearing the second question, seventh sister froze on the spot again. She even looked at Grandpa Sheng for help. Grandpa Sheng knew what was going on. He remained silent for a while. Then, he said to the staff in the planning department, Get Mu Chi-Chi here. Grandpa. Seventh sister was shocked. Grandpa Sheng did not say anything. He just sat on the spot with his walking stick. After a while, Mu Chi-Chi came in. Of course, she knew what was going on in the meeting room. Mu Chi-Chi, you will be in charge of this meeting. Grandpa. Seventh sister stomped her feet. She wanted to walk out of the meeting room. But Grandpa Sheng scolded her. Just sit in your seat. You don't need to go anywhere. Xing Minghui blushed. She could only sit on her seat unwillingly. Miss Mu, these are the last 2 questions. Mu Chi-Chi nodded after reading it. Huang Yao does have a lot of new products, but they are not suitable to be advertised on the VVIP platform because they are already on the market. In other words, anyone with money can buy them. This is not attractive to the rich ladies who contribute a lot of money to Huang Yao every year. Mu Chi-Chi nodded. Why is it limited to the whole world? That's because they want to be respected. They want to be able to enjoy things that others can't. So, the direction of the promotion is the new products that will be released in the next quarter. It is not yet in the market. This way, we can warm up the new products and ensure the sales of the next quarter. The staff in the planning department nodded. Understood. As for the publicity, Huang Yao has set a fixed time to let everyone know that these few days are Huang Yao's event days. With Huang Yao's current status, it doesn't seem like we should waste this money, but only the top 50 people participate in the VVIP night every year. But are there only 50 rich people in Jianchuan? Moreover, I have seen the name list. These 50 people don't change much. Don't you want new blood to join? As for the new products that I've set up, I'm calling out to those who haven't joined the VVIP night to spend more next year. Only by joining the VVIP night will you be able to enjoy the latest products of the year and become the most honorable symbol of Jianchuan. So, the promotion is not for the general public. It is to remind those who are not in the top 50 that they should work harder. This is also the goal of the VVIP night. So, do you think we should promote it? After Mu Chichi finished, the staff in the planning department could not help but clap. This little girl was really amazing. She had set the direction for the VVIP night. This way, they would not have to worry about it in the future. Grandpa Xing listened quietly and clapped too. But what about seventh sister? She was so guilty that she did not dare to look Grandpa Xing in the eyes. How could she be so shameless? Chapter 308. You. Don't think that I don't know that Xing Xiao taught you all these. Otherwise, how could you know so much about dissecting corpses? Miss Minghui, that's impossible. The people in the planning department immediately denied Xing Minghui's words. You should know that we have just sorted out these problems before the meeting. Unless the crown prince can predict the future. Enough. At this time, Grandpa Xing stood up and sneered. Why are you still arguing? You are a finance graduate from a prestigious university. How can you be compared to a girl who plays with a scalpel? I was so confident that you could lead the planning department well. Now that I think about it, maybe I am an old fool. Grandpa. No, I am not like this. If I had not tried, would not have known that the granddaughter I am so proud of is like this in the company. This old face of mine has been completely thrown away by you today. Grandpa Xing stood up straight and took a deep breath. You still have the cheek to call me and say that you were bullied? If I were you, I would hide under the table. Do you know that? Grandpa. Xing Minghui quickly reached out to hold Grandpa Xing's hand. But Grandpa Xing shook her off. It seems that you are not suitable to enter Huangyao. Don't interfere with the planning department's affairs in the future. Grandpa. Give me another chance. I will perform well. Xing Minghui panicked and quickly held Grandpa Xing's hand. Grandpa Xing did not look at Xing Minghui. Instead, he looked at Mama Sheng who was standing at the door. If she wants to enter Huangyao, arrange a job for her as a typist. Let her start from scratch. A young lady of the Xing family becoming a typist. Wasn't that even worse than killing Xing Minghui? How could she endure such humiliation? Grandpa, you will regret this. After saying that, Xing Minghui ran out of the meeting room in tears. Grandpa Xing's expression did not change, but he could not do anything about it. Before he left the meeting room, he said to Xing Minghui, finish this meeting and this event. Then, go back to your school. Grandpa, I let seventh sister know so much today and made her feel humiliated. She will definitely take revenge. I don't care, but I can't guarantee whether she will leak the news in advance. The painstaking efforts of the planning department and the publicity department are all in this. Grandpa Sheng was aware of that. After all, even if he disliked Mu Chichi, he would not joke around with Huang Yao. Moreover, the event this time was of utmost importance. If old seventh really dared to do this, she would definitely cripple this granddaughter of hers. Don't worry, she can't do it. With that, Grandpa Sheng left Huang Yao. Today was a lesson for him. His face was swollen after being slapped by seventh brother. He thought that even if seventh brother was a dabbler, he should know something. However, when he saw seventh brother acting like a yes man just now, he knew how stupid his decision was. After Mu Chichi's adjustments, the status of the planning department would definitely rise and become more and more important in the future. The minds of these employees seemed to have been activated by Mu Chichi and gained new creativity. Since that was the case, of course, he would not let seventh sister be the person in charge. At the same time, he really saw Mu Chichi's ability and creativity. This was not something that Xing Xiao could teach. The people in the planning department were all excited when they saw that Mu Chichi was finally recognized. Miss Mu, let's continue. There is not much time left, Muchichi nodded. This time, she could sit down and have a peaceful meeting. Xing Minghui drove around angrily. Grandpa Xing sent the chauffeur to follow her. Because from this moment on, all her actions must be strictly monitored. Xing Minghui hated Muchichi. But there was nothing she could do. She was slapped in the face in public. Grandpa Sheng was still on Muchichi's side. What could she do? Sooner or later, she would cut Muchichi into pieces. Soon, the news of the meeting spread in the company. Before this, Grandpa Sheng wanted to ask Xing Minghui to take away Muchichi's credit. But after the meeting, the people in the planning department and the publicity department had become Muchichi's water supply. Whenever someone said that Xing Minghui was the planner of the event, they would be attacked like a hornet's nest. What planner? If she is really the planner, how could she not know anything in the meeting? She is the Xing family's Miss Minghui. Was she adopted by the Xing family? Why is she so different from the others in the Xing family? Look at the crown prince. Look at Madame Sheng and the others. This Miss Minghui is simply a good-for-nothing. Isn't that right? She still wants to take away other people's credit. She needs to show her ability first. Groups after groups of people were laughing at Xing Minghui in the company. At the same time, the people from the other departments were also curious about how exciting the event in Huangyao was. Why did this group of people agree with Muchichi so much? Wherever Xing Xiao passed by, he could hear praises for his little one. It was imaginable that his little one had gained a lot of attention in the meeting. After this incident, he thought that Grandpa Sheng would not hand over the planning department to Xing Minghui for the time being. Xing Minghui did not want to go home. She had nowhere to go. So, she went to the bar where she drank last time. Of course, she also thought of Shenrui. Shenrui had made a bet that she would lose to Muchichi. She did not expect that it would come true so soon. At that time, Shenrui said that if she could help Shenrui get to know her eldest brother, Shenrui would help her to deal with Muchichi. When Xing Minghui thought of Muchichi's proud face in the meeting today, she could not bear it anymore. She said to the bartender, "Fine manager Shen. You are too fast. I thought you would still be able to hold on for a while." Shenrui walked out of the inner court and sat beside Xing Minghui. "What is it this time? Are you going to promise me as long as I promise you?" Xing Minghui asked Shenrui. This time, she had made up her mind to fight Muchichi to the death. Of course. Shenrui nodded. All right, there's something I need you to do for me. Muchichi's guess was right. To deal with her, Xing Minghui was willing to sacrifice the event and the benefits of Huangyao. She just wanted to embarrass her. I can't do that. You have to be my matchmaker first. Anyway, I won't be able to run away when I meet your eldest brother. Why are you so anxious? Chapter 309. It's a deal. They reached an agreement quickly. But, Xing Minghui did not know that her every move was under Grandpa Xing's surveillance. The driver sent by Grandpa Xing returned to Xing Mansion after he took a photo of them. Then, he reported to Grandpa Xing in the study. Chairman, this is the photo I took. I found out that Miss Minghui is in contact with this woman. Grandpa Xing's face changed when he saw the photo. Humph. What good can they do when they are together? What should we do now? Keep a close watch on her. Although I don't like Muchichi, this event will bring Huangyao many times more profits. So, Minghui must not be a hindrance to this event. It's time to arrange a place for her. Grandpa Sheng had been very lenient to Xing Minghui. But, this girl had not changed at all. He had listened to Muchichi's arrangements at the meeting today. He had to admit that her event was the most creative one Huangyao had in recent years. If it could be carried out smoothly, Huangyao's revenue for the next year would be immeasurable. If Xing Minghui was not broad-minded enough, she would definitely go against Muchichi. Then, he had no other choice. In life, one had to give up something. Grandpa Xing called Xing Xiao after he knew that the two women were in contact with each other. Although they never got along well, Xing Xiao was happy to see Er's enemy. Xing Minghui and Shen Rui are in cahoots. I don't know what they are planning. You must keep an eye on them. Don't let them spread the news. Also, send someone to keep an eye on the Lu family. Keep an eye on those two first. Mu Qiqi could not help but sigh when she knew about it. Shen Rui is still dreaming. I wonder what kind of deal they have made. If you want to know, just keep an eye on them. Xing Xiao lowered his head and looked at the little one. He smiled when he saw that she was playing with the simulated heart. You are getting more and more hardcore these days. Are you afraid? Mu Qiqi put the heart in front of him and smiled. Xiao Xiao, I will touch more limbs and maggots in the future. Can't you stand it now? Are you provoking me? Xing Xiao put down the model in her hand and slapped her butt. Are you hinting that I should bathe you a few more times a day? I don't want it. Mu Qiqi resisted. Let me go. I want to continue my research. Just sit on me. Mu Qiqi did not refuse. After all, it was more comfortable than sitting on a chair. Moreover, Xing Minghui was digging her own grave now. If this continued, Grandpa Sheng would not be able to stand her. Not very soon, but she couldn't take it anymore. After Xing Minglan refused Jing Yun's help, she spent a lot of money to hire an all-round assistant. Although he was not someone she liked, he was still very capable. Although she would sometimes think that it was a pity to miss Jing Yun, what could she do if the door to his heart remained closed like that? The two of them worked very well together, and Xing Minglan gradually trusted this new assistant. Soon, the two expanded their business overseas. Xing Minglan also decided that she would attend the conference abroad in person, and this time, she and her assistant were the only ones on the trip. If things went well, she was prepared to stay abroad for half a month, so that she could change her mood. Moreover, she did not tell anyone that she was leaving Jianchuan. To avoid contact with Jing Yun, she did not even have time to call Xing Xiao now. Mu Qiqi had thought that she could visit fourth sister when she had the time, but she only found out that she had left the country when she reached her office. And she was going with the new assistant. Moreover, the new assistant seemed to have good qualifications. More importantly, he was also single. What if they got to know each other for a long time and fell in love with each other? Jing Yun was really making people anxious. After returning home, Mu Qiqi sat on the sofa and sighed. Jing Yun's blockhead was really infuriating. Xing Xiao found Mu Qiqi dejected when he got home, and guessed that she was worried about someone else's matter again. Xiao Xiao, say, why does Jing Yun have to live so restrained and tired? A handsome assistant has appeared by Sister Four's side. If he still doesn't make a move, Sister Four will belong to someone else. Can't help it. It's a dead end. I really want to piss him off, or I would be angry for nothing. Isn't that simple? The next day, Xing Xiao deliberately mentioned Xing Minglan's new assistant in front of Jing Yun. It's lucky that you're not staying by fourth sister's side anymore, or she wouldn't be able to get to know that golden assistant. Let's see when they get married. Jing Yun said nothing, but his heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. His body and mind had never been so exhausted after so many years. During this period of time, he had been working overtime to forget the pain. But when young master mentioned it so casually, his wound was torn open again. Xing Xiao could tell from his back that the fellow was very upset. Even so, he was the one who asked for it. Still, it was rare that Jing Yun fell sick the next day, and took a day off to rest at home. Why was he so insistent if he couldn't stand the agitation? Mu Qiqi suddenly sympathized with Jing Yun when she learned about it. You actually made him sick, who can he blame for working day and night? Xing Xiao couldn't help snorting coldly. Should we tell fourth sister? Consider it as giving them one last chance? I'm too lazy to help. If we don't help them, no one will. Mu Qiqi hugged Xing Xiao's arm and said, I'll send a message to fourth sister. Xing Xiao was too lazy to care about her. Mu Qiqi took out her phone and sent a message to Xing Minglan. She told her that Xing Xiao had told Jing Yun that there was a possibility for her and the new assistant to continue their relationship. She was so angry that she fell sick. Xing Minglan had just finished her meeting. When she saw the message, she couldn't sit still anymore. She asked her assistant to buy a ticket back home. But it's night time now, don't we have a night ticket? Xing Minglan was really anxious. Maybe she was afraid that Jing Yun would misunderstand her, or maybe she was worried about Jing Yun's health. No matter what, she was eager to go home. Although the assistant did not understand, he still did as he was told. Judging from Xing Minglan's reaction, she must be doing it for her lover. On the other hand, Xing Minghui didn't know that she was under Grandpa Xing's surveillance. She went to the bar at night and met Shen Rui. Chapter 310. That's the best. Shen Rui nodded. You can tell me what you need me to do after I meet your eldest brother. It's a deal. Xing Minghui wondered how her eldest sister-in-law would feel if she knew what Xing Minghui had done. Perhaps, he even had the intention to kill her. That night, it was already 11 o'clock when Xing Minglan returned to Jianchuan. But she did not have time to change her clothes. She asked Xing Xiao for Jing Yun's address and drove there. Jing Yun was too tired and his stomach was not feeling well. Although he had taken the medicine, he still had a fever. Xing Xiao's words were the main reason why he was in such a bad mood. How could a person be invincible? Soon, Xing Minglan arrived at Jing Yun's house. Although she was still hesitant, she still pressed the doorbell bravely. Jing Yun endured the pain and got off the bed. When he opened the door and saw Xing Minglan, he was shocked. Before he could show any expression on his sick face, Xing Minglan already knew that he was very sick. Miss Minglan, Xing Minglan heard his hoarse voice. She reached out and touched his forehead. When she found that it was burning, she pushed him into the room. Why don't you go to the hospital? How long have you been burning? I'm fine. Jing Yun defended himself. If you keep burning, you will become stupid. How can you be fine? Where's the thermometer? Jing Yun lay back on the bed and pointed at the thing on the bedside. Xing Minglan took it and ordered him. Open your mouth. Jing Yun did not move. I asked you to open your mouth. Jing Yun was helpless. He opened his mouth obediently. 2 minutes later, Xing Minglan saw the thermometer explode. You don't think of yourself as a human. Let me find the medicine for you first. Then, I will lower your temperature. Seeing Xing Minglan getting up, Jing Yun reached out and grabbed her. Why don't you run away after I let you go? Xing Minglan got rid of Jing Yun's grip and answered him. Just take it that I'm a slut tonight. How could you be a slut to me? He didn't know if it was because of his illness, but he lost some of his water chestnuts and became much cuter. Don't say anything else. If you keep this up, it will be really serious. Having said that, Xing Minglan found the first aid kit and gave Jing Yun a strong antipyretic. But his stomach wasn't feeling well now. If the medicine was too strong, his stomach would definitely feel uncomfortable. So, for a moment, he was in so much pain that he curled up into a ball. Xing Minglan sighed and helped him up. Then, she gave him a massage. Why torture yourself like this? You have a new assistant. Yes, I have a new assistant. I need someone to help me, explained Xing Minglan. Will you like him? Don't you know who I like? If I didn't like this person, would have rushed back from abroad. I haven't showered for 2 days. I just finished a meeting in the afternoon and I heard that Xiaoqi said that you were sick. I couldn't sit still. But I'm glad that I'm back. Otherwise, are you planning to die alone in the house tonight? Xiaoqi's face turned red. That's right. Fourth miss, don't call me fourth miss. Xing Minglan was a little angry. Although I'm the young lady of the Xing family, he ignored me when I took the initiative to pursue him. Jing Yun couldn't stand the pain anymore. He grabbed Xing Minglan's hand. Can you be quiet for a minute? Xing Minglan immediately stopped talking. But after a while, she couldn't bear it anymore. Let's go to the hospital. We don't have much money. Or, should I ask the doctor to come? Jing Yun didn't say anything. He fainted from the pain. Because of the pain, he became weaker. His immune system became weaker and his fever wouldn't go down. Xing Minglan was helpless. She could only call the doctor and ask him to come quickly. The night passed just like that. And Jing Yun's fever only went down in the morning. Xing Minglan was really tired. She leaned on the sofa and fell asleep. When Jing Yun woke up and saw his beloved in front of him, he suddenly felt that it was a strange dream. Soon, Xing Minglan woke up too. Seeing Jing Yun's eyes wide open, she was no longer angry. Are you hungry? Jing Yun shook his head. Does your stomach still hurt? Jing Yun shook his head too. I'll make you some porridge. Having said that, Xing Minglan got up. But Jing Yun suddenly grabbed her and pulled her into his arms. You're so cunning. Why did you attack me when my will was at its weakest? Xing Minglan hugged Jing Yun back. Who asked you to be so weak? I don't want to see you with your new assistant. Do you think I would be with him just because he's an assistant? Xing Minglan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Our relationship has been built for more than 10 years. Ordinary people can't compare. Jing Yun was finally relieved after hearing Xing Minglan's words. Can you let me go now? Jing Yun slowly let go. But it was obvious that there was less wariness in his eyes. There was more affection. Xing Minglan got up and went to the kitchen to make porridge for Jing Yun. This man was really too passionate. If he didn't want her to be with other men, he could have just said it. But he kept everything in his heart and made a mess of himself. He asked for it. But no matter what, Xing Minglan knew that Jing Yun had opened up a little to her and was not completely resistant. Although he would still be on his guard when he encountered sensitive issues in the future, she believed that she would have more courage after today's response and move on. Come to think of it, that sly Shao Qi was really popular. That morning, Jing Yun fell asleep again after having his porridge. It was only then that Xing Minglan found a chance to call Mu Qiqi. That piece of wood's fever has subsided, fourth sister. Is there anything different about that piece of wood that's sick? Shao Qi. Mu Qiqi held back her laughter. If that's the case, I won't go see Jing Yun in the morning. You guys continue. Xing Minglan blushed all the way to her neck. Mu Qiqi could imagine how enchanting it must have been when they were together last night. Finally, her efforts were not in vain. Fourth sister had come to his house in the middle of the night. If Jing Yun could still hold himself back, he would really be inhuman. While Jing Yun was asleep, Xing Minglan wandered around his house. He did not take anything away from the Xing family except for the gifts. They would be there wherever he was. Moreover, the gold card she returned to Jing Yun had been dismembered by Jing Yun. To him, if the money could not help Xing Minglan, it would be useless to him. How could there be such a stupid person in this world? Xing Minglan took out some transparent glue and stuck the gold card back on. Chapter 311. When he woke up, he put on his handmaid's suit and planned to report to Huang Yao. Xing Minglan was a little angry when she saw him coming out of the bedroom. Your fever hasn't subsided yet. I'm already feeling much better. Besides, I only took a day off yesterday. You've been working day and night all these years. How much leave does eighth brother owe you? Xing Minglan was a little unhappy. Rest for one more day before you go back. What about you? Isn't the company busy? There's a new assistant. Didn't Jing Yun dislike her new assistant? That was why Xing Minglan sounded a little awkward when she mentioned the new assistant. As expected, Jing Yun was stunned for a moment, but he still did not plan to rest. I'll accompany you to the company. You work, I'll rest. But how can I rest well in a place like the company? To me, not working is resting. Let's go, I'll send you back to change your clothes. Xing Minglan felt that something was not right, but she did not reject him. Yesterday, she had rushed to Jing Yun's house anxiously. They had just negotiated a deal, and they had yet to finalize it. When we get to the company, you don't have to worry about anything. Just rest. Can you do that? Jing Yun nodded. Xing Minglan only left with Jing Yun after she was satisfied. She did not let Jing Yun drive. It was still dangerous for someone who had taken the medicine. They arrived at the company in the afternoon. When the employees saw Jing Yun following Xing Minglan, they wondered if Jing Yun was coming back to help their CEO. But when Jing Yun entered her office, he sat down at her rest area and leaned against the wall lazily. Xing Minglan glanced at him and asked someone to buy a blanket for him. Then, she gently covered him with it. When the new assistant saw that Xing Minglan had returned to the company, he took the contract and knocked on her office door. When he entered and saw that there was someone in the lounge, he was stunned. Chief Xing, this is the contract. Leave it. Is there anything else? I also need you to look through my schedule for the next few days. All right, leave it here too. I'll take a look later. Xing Minglan's attitude towards work was obvious. Naturally, she had no personal feelings towards her new assistant. After hearing that, Jing Yun was relieved and fell asleep on the sofa. Wasn't a man such a creature? He was trying his best to identify the things that were dangerous and threatening to him. For the rest of the day, Jing Yun rested while Xing Minglan busied herself. When it was time to knock off, the two left the new company. On the surface, they appeared no different from usual. But the problem was that Jing Yun did not do anything when he came to the company today. He simply slept in Xing Minglan's office. Do you think Chief Sheng and Special Assistant Jing are a couple? They've been together for more than 10 years. It's normal for them to be a little intimate. Don't you think that Special Assistant Jing came to the company today to announce his status? When they were in the parking lot, Xing Minglan heard the employees talking about their relationship. She blushed at once. When Jing Yun said that he was going to the company to rest, she thought that he was going to accompany her. However, after being reminded, she felt that Jing Yun really did have a purpose for coming here. Could it be because of the new assistant? Was he jealous? The car is here. Let's go. Jing Yun did not smile the whole time. Even though he was being talked about, he did not seem to care. Still, Xing Minglan had questions in her mind. Jing Yun was the driver on the way back. Xing Minglan sat beside him. Jing Yun gave people the feeling that he was always restrained and steady. So, she felt a different sense of security when she was with him. It was different from when she was with Xing Xiao. It made her feel very secure. Even so, she still had to ask what she had to ask. Jing Yun, what is our relationship now? Jing Yun turned to look at Xing Minglan and said, young master always says that Miss Chi-Chi dragged him into hell. But he was never at the entrance to hell. I am the one who is sure that it is me. I just hope that you won't regret being with me. Even if the chairman wants to deal with me one day, I will try my best to protect you. If Chi-Chi can stand by Xing Zhao's side, why can't I? Xing Minglan said firmly. As long as you don't run away. With those words, Xing Minglan hugged Jing Yun's right arm. Of course, it was under the condition that she did not interfere with his driving. That night, it was a good show that Xing Minghui had arranged. She arranged for Shen Ruoi to join her eldest brother's dinner. Well, as her eldest brother, it was a common thing for him to flirt with women. Of course, after all these years, big sister-in-law's heart had already been broken. Now, the two of them were practically having their own fun. But big sister-in-law had a principle. Her fun was not the same as a man's fooling around. She simply loved to travel, but she would never go out to find a man and embarrass Elder Mo. After all, even if they were to get a divorce, she would still be able to stand firm. But, she had never expected that Xing Minghui would introduce a mistress to her husband. Because eldest brother Sheng was mixed blood. So, his appearance was very attractive to women. It was also his natural capital. And when eldest brother Sheng wanted to cooperate with him, he must find a beautiful woman as his companion. So, Xing Minghui arranged for Shen Ruoi to be with a group of beautiful women. When eldest brother Sheng saw Shen Ruoi, he was shocked. After all, she was the daughter of the Shen family. Why would she come to a hotel to accompany a guest? Ruoi, you, Shen Ruoi walked to eldest brother Sheng and said, "You're here to have fun today. So, don't ask me why I'm in this situation. Brother Sheng, please buy me. Otherwise, someone else will buy me." According to seniority, eldest brother Sheng was Shen Ruoi's uncle. But, the age difference between them was not convincing. Eldest young master Xing thought for a while. Shen Ruoi's body was very beautiful under her revealing clothes. He could not just watch Shen Ruoi being molested. So, he nodded. "All right. You can sit next to me." Shen Ruoi had learned a lot of new things in the bar recently. She especially learned how to make a man happy. Eldest brother Xing did not have those thoughts. He just met someone he knew. However, Shen Ruoi's faint touch and her fragrance were stimulating eldest brother Sheng. Soon, Grandpa Xing knew about it. When he saw the photo, he was furious. How shameless. How slutty. How could she do such a thing to her own brother? "Chairman, what are you going to do now?" Chapter 312. But nothing happened that night. Eldest brother Xing respected Grandpa Shen. So, he would not do anything to Shen Ruoi. He only promised that he could arrange for Shen Ruoi to stay in the apartment under his name. To put it bluntly, this was similar to keeping. Soon, eldest brother Xing returned home. Old Xing glanced at him, but did not show any sign of abnormality. He simply wanted to see if eldest brother was so lustful that he would touch the granddaughter of a family friend. Of course, Grandpa Shen would also send someone to inform the Shen family. Although Shen Ruoi was chased out of the Shen family, she was still a descendant of the Shen family. If this matter was spread out, the Shen family would be in trouble. As for Xing Minghui, he decided to find a time to gather the whole family. Most importantly, he still did not know what the deal between Xing Minghui and Shen Ruoi was. Xing Minghui was completely unaware that she was now under Grandpa Xing's control. She felt that she had fulfilled Shen Ruoi's wish. So, she wanted Shen Ruoi to reward her. "Help me leak the news about Huang Yao. Tell them that there will be 2 main venues for the VVIP event, and that the 2 wives of the Lu family will be separated." Knowing how much eldest madam hates youngest madam, she will not just sit back and watch. She will definitely think of a way to embarrass youngest Madam Lu. Let's see how Mu Chichi will be able to act so arrogantly in front of me then. After Shen Ruoi heard that, she felt that Xing Minghui had gone all out. Even an outsider like her knew how important Huang Yao's VVIP night was. "You're too ruthless. If I don't do that, how can I make Mu Chichi pay the price? We can't publicize this matter. We only need to let Dr. Lu know about it." Xing Minghui told Shen Ruoi over the phone. "I've fulfilled your wish. Now, let's see your performance." But, would Shen Ruoi really have the chance to get close to the Lu family? Apart from the old man's men, Xing Xiao and eldest Lu were also on guard. She wanted to see eldest madam. He would probably have to wait until his next life. However, she still agreed verbally very quickly. "Minghui, let's help each other from now on. I'll definitely help you handle this matter beautifully." Unfortunately, the 2 of them colluded with each other and tried their best to come up with a solution. However, in the eyes of smart people, they were just lab rats that could be pinched to death at any time. 2 days later, when Mu Chichi saw Jing Yun again, he was the one who came to deliver the documents to Xiao Xiao. From his face, one could still see that he was pale, but he was in good spirits and seemed to be a lot more relaxed. "Look at you, didn't you ask for it? If you had confessed your feelings earlier, you wouldn't have gotten sick from Xiao Xiao's anger. Miss Qiqi, Miss Minglan is the jewel of the Xing family. I don't know if she would be able to endure the life if the chairman were to attack her in the future. I don't want her to suffer because of me. Mu Qiqi pouted impatiently and shook her head. What do you think Grandpa Sheng can do to you with Xiao Xiao around? I don't want to add to young master's burden. Why did you follow Xiao Xiao for so long? Isn't it because he has the ability to protect whoever he wants? Jingyun stopped talking. At the end of the day, it was because he cared too much. So, are you two not fighting with each other anymore? Is fourth sister your girlfriend now? Mu Qiqi asked the person in question. But, Xing Xiao grabbed her by the collar and dragged her back. Little one, you women should ask other women about this kind of thing. Oh. Mu Qiqi behaved herself. Jingyun blushed a little. He passed the documents to Xing Xiao and said softly, "We have confirmed our relationship." Mu Qiqi was so excited when she heard that. Well done. We will form an alliance against Grandpa Sheng in the future. Fourth sister must be very happy. Jingyun did not change much. But Mu Qiqi knew that the blockhead was secretly happy. Young master, the chairman intercepted these things this morning. Jingyun was afraid that it would be awkward. So, he quickly changed the topic. Xing Xiao opened the documents and smirked. Xing Minglan is courting death. Moreover, this matter is related to the Shen family. Take a look. Xing Xiao passed the documents to Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi took the documents and was shocked. Is Shen Rui crazy? What does she want to do? Miss Qiqi, you don't know this. The young master of the Xing family has many women. Shen Rui is doing this because she wants to use him to attack the Xing family. Or, she is doing this for you. Seventh sister is really reckless. I have never seen a sister like her. She introduced her eldest brother directly. Mu Qiqi could not finish her words. Because it was difficult to say it. If this matter is exposed, the reputation of the Sheng and Shen families will be ruined. I have to go back and meet father and grandpa. As for seventh sister, Xing Xiao turned around and looked at Mu Qiqi. He said, I am afraid that Grandpa Sheng is going to put righteousness before family. He will not pay too much attention to the conflicts between brothers and sisters as long as it is not too ugly. But, seventh sister is harming the interests of Huang Yao. That is Grandpa Sheng's bottom line. What will Grandpa do? Let's wait and see. Shen Rui tried to contact the people of the Lu family. But, she failed. Grandpa Sheng's connections were certainly not a joke. But, the two of them were still feeling proud of themselves. Jingyun, go to the Lu family. Pretend to be a member of the Lu family and reply to Shen Rui. Tell her that First Madam has already known about the VVIP night of Huang Yao. Let's see what they are going to do next. I will arrange it. Jingyun nodded. If the two of them were to do anything, they would be destroyed by Grandpa Sheng. Shen Rui received the reply from the Lu family very soon. Eldest Lu had already known about Huang Yao's evil plan. They had deliberately set up 2 stages to separate her and that little SL*T. She would not let it go so easily. She would definitely cause trouble for Huang Yao. Shen Rui showed the result to seventh sister. She pretended to take credit. Do you know how much effort I have put in and how many tricks I have used to contact this first madam? In order to thank me, can you also tell me the whereabouts of your big brother? I will tell you later when I find out. Seventh sister was very satisfied with the result. She was waiting for eldest Lu to show up so that she could slap Mu Qiqi in the face. What was so great about the most creative event? Chapter 313. Because it was related to the Shen family's reputation, Mu Qiqi went back to Shen Mansion in the afternoon the next day. Not only that, she was surprised to find that Shen Jianchuan had returned home. Grandpa Shen had hired a professional physiotherapist to help Shen Jianchuan. So, he did not need to go to the hospital anymore. When Grandpa Shen was fishing in the pond, Shen Jianchuan could accompany him and talk to him. It was as if they wanted to make up for the regret they had. They always had a lot to talk about. Grandpa, Dad. Grandpa Shen turned around and saw Muchichi. He smiled. My precious granddaughter is back. Actually, Muchichi did not want to talk about third uncle's family in front of Grandpa Shen anymore. If it was not because Shen Ruoyi had become eldest brother Sheng's mistress, she would not have been able to talk about it. Do you have something to tell Grandpa? Shen Jianchuan could see through his daughter's mind. Although I don't want to make Grandpa angry, I think I should tell you about it. Muchichi took out the picture of Shen Ruoyi dressed in a trench coat and together with eldest brother Sheng. I don't know what she is planning. But I don't want anyone to know about it. Grandpa will be criticized. Grandpa Shen put down his fishing rod and took the picture. He looked angry. Animal. She is an animal. Grandpa, if you agree, let me handle it. But no matter what I do to Sister Ruoyi, you can't say anything. You can't be soft-hearted or feel sorry for her. Grandpa Shen took a deep breath. He could not do anything to Shen Ruoyi. So, he nodded. I have nothing to say to her now. Just do as you see fit. Xiao Qi, you have grown up. You don't have to tell me about this. I will stand by your side no matter what. I know, Grandpa. Let's not talk about this. I will accompany you to go fishing. I will stay at home for dinner. You, among all the children in the Shen family, Grandpa Shen only trusted Muchichi. Although she was only 19 years old, she was more farsighted than most of the adults. She was brave enough to break the rules. Grandpa Shen was still a little uncomfortable with Muchichi and Xing Zhao's seniority. That night, Muchichi had a very happy time at the Shen residence. But when she returned to Jingting, she found that Xing Zhao was deliberately ignoring her. Muchichi climbed onto his lap and wrapped her arms around his neck. What's wrong? Sulking? The Shen family treats you very well now. Does it make you feel more at home? What are you talking about? Aren't you being petty? I just stayed in the Shen family for a while. It's not worth it for you to make a fuss about it. You used to be very clingy to me, I'm very attached to you now too, Muchichi said and pressed her head against his chest. Look, I'm stuck to you. I promised your father that I would let you live happily in the Xing family, but I'm living a happy life. Mom and fourth sister treat me very well. As for the others, they all treat you that way. I'm just an outsider. I don't expect anything from them. I'm already very satisfied with my current life. Muchichi said as she rubbed up and down on his chest. He was a man after all. No matter how arrogant he was, he would still have his period for a few days. Muchichi could understand it. After a while, Muchichi opened one of her eyes and looked at Xing Zhao. She asked gently, Are you not angry anymore? What's the use of rubbing my chest? Muchichi's face turned red when she followed Xing Zhao's gaze. Pervert. And Xiao, I've thought of a way to deal with Shen Ruoyi. It can solve the problem once and for all. Xing Zhao put down the documents and held Muchichi's waist. Then, he walked to the bedroom. What are you doing? You can say what you want. I'll do what I want. Grandpa Xing's men found out that one of the properties under eldest brother Xing's name was empty. It was specially used to settle Shen Ruoyi down. If eldest brother Sheng was not selfish at all, he should have told the Shen family after settling Shen Ruoyi down. But, he did not. What did it mean? Grandpa Xing knew very well that his son had an ulterior motive. Although he had an ulterior motive, he did not meet her immediately. So, Shen Ruoyi had to get eldest brother Xing's schedule from Xing Minghui. Eldest brother Sheng was not a fool. He would only approach the forbidden fruit after he was sure that the surroundings were peaceful. Muchichi had thought of a way to deal with Shen Ruoyi. So, she told Xing Xiao about it. Xing Xiao patted Muqiqi's head after he heard about it. It's easy. Grandpa Xing will not reject it for the sake of his relationship with the Shen family. Moreover, it was related to the reputation of the Xing family. Muqiqi's idea was to let Grandpa Xing catch them in the act when they met. Then, she would get the evidence and hand it over to her grandfather. Then, Grandpa Xing would arrange for Shen Ruoyi to join the army. She wanted her to join the army before she passed the age limit. If she refused, the media would expose those photos to the public. It was the last bit of mercy she could give to Shen Ruoyi. It was also the only chance for Shen Ruoyi to turn over a new leaf. After all, it was the Shen family. Grandpa Xing certainly did not want to deal with this hot potato. So, he agreed to Xing Zhao's suggestion. Then, he asked his secretary to find out eldest brother Xing's whereabouts. There were still 2 days left before the VVIP night of Huangyao. Eldest brother Xing felt lonely after he finished his work. Then, he thought of Shen Ruoyi who was staying in the villa. So, eldest brother Xing drove to the villa at night. At the same time, Grandpa Xing called Xing Minghui over. I saw your eldest brother going out just now. Your sister-in-law is not at home. Let's follow him and see where he went. Xing Minghui was stunned when she heard that. She said quickly, Grandpa, I don't think it's a good idea. There's nothing bad about it. I will ask your aunt and the butler to come along. They are all elders. You are a junior. It's just right. Grandpa, there's nothing else to say. Let's go now. Xing Minghui was very nervous. Her palms were sweating. She wanted to send a message to Shen Ruoyi. But, Grandpa Xing had seen through her intention. He said to her, Give me your phone. I know your eldest brother treats you very well. It's inevitable that you will want to send him a message. Xing Minghui was reluctant. But, she still took out her phone and passed it to Grandpa Xing. Let's go now. Xing Minghui followed behind Grandpa Xing. But at the same time, she felt a chill down her spine. Grandpa Xing saw eldest brother Xing leaving with his own eyes. How would he know where eldest brother Xing went? Wouldn't it be too late to follow him now? And the reason why Grandpa Xing could do that was because he knew where eldest brother Xing was going. Chapter 314. Moreover, Grandpa Xing had invited her. That meant that Grandpa Xing might not only know about Shen Ruoyi. He might even know that she was in cahoots with Shen Ruoyi. Xing Minghui started to sweat when she thought about it. Minghui, are you not feeling well? Mama Xing asked even though she already knew the answer. It was because she knew that Xing Minghui was feeling guilty. There was no other reason. No. No. Xing Minghui smiled embarrassedly. I'm just feeling a little hot. Just bear with it. We'll be there soon. Grandpa Xing looked at her coldly. Obviously, Grandpa Xing had leaked the news on purpose. He wanted to see Xing Minghui's reaction. He wanted her to be afraid. At the same time, Xing Xiao received a message from Mama Xing in Jingting. She was on the way to catch the adulterer with Grandpa Xing. I want to join in the fun too. But if I show up, I will definitely provoke Shen Ruoyi. Don't worry. I will take a clear picture. You will feel like you are there. Go to hell. Xing Zhao's words made Muqiqi laugh. Not long after, they arrived at the villa. At that moment, the lights in the villa were actually from the living room. They hadn't reached the bedroom yet. The butler will knock on the door later. Because Grandpa Xing would never let Xing Minghui get close to the villa and inform the people in the house. Yes, Grandpa. In the room, Shen Ruoyi was making supper for eldest brother Xing. She had waited so long for this man to show up. Of course, she had to seize the opportunity. Ever since she moved into the villa, she had been wearing revealing clothes. It was because she did not know when eldest brother Xing would attack her. For example, tonight. Eldest brother Sheng looked at Shen Ruoyi from behind. He was excited. Eldest brother, it's almost ready, it's okay. Take your time. I'm not in a hurry. Eldest brother Sheng said thoughtfully. Soon, Shen Ruoyi walked to eldest brother Sheng with a bowl and a pair of chopsticks. She touched the man's body. If it weren't for you, I would have become a prostitute. You are Uncle Shen's granddaughter, this is what I should do. Eldest brother. Shen Ruoyi held eldest brother Sheng's hand. I don't know how to repay you. Why don't you marry me? Then, I'll feel more at ease. I'm willing to be your lover. I don't want you to divorce me or marry me. This, if it wasn't, would you despise me? How could eldest brother Sheng hold back when a beauty was in his arms and she was the one who threw herself at him? So, he pulled her onto his thighs. The two of them had been harboring thoughts in their hearts to begin with. Once the fire was ignited, it naturally couldn't be stopped. The lights in the living room quickly turned on to the bedroom. At this time, Grandpa Sheng also signaled to the butler, go. Xing Minghui's heart was pounding when she saw the butler getting out of the car. The butler kept ringing the doorbell downstairs, which made the people who were in the middle of passion very impatient. So, when eldest brother Sheng opened the door in his pajamas, he was very angry. Who is it? The butler immediately stepped aside. Eldest brother Sheng's expression changed when he saw Grandpa Sheng behind the old butler. Grandpa, why are you here? Minghui, walk in front. Grandpa Sheng didn't care. He asked Xing Minghui to clear the way. After all, it was a woman inside. As an elder, it was not appropriate for him to do so. Grandpa, I'm the only one inside. There's no one else. Butler, stop him. Xiao Qin, go upstairs and look for her. Grandpa Sheng entered the living room of the villa and ordered. Mama Sheng nodded and went upstairs. At this moment, Xing Minghui's heart was already in her throat. Then, a scream came from upstairs. It was because Shen Ruoyi was naked in the bedroom. She could imagine how intense the two of them were just now. And when she heard the scream, Xing Minghui knew that Shen Ruoyi was doomed. Soon, Mama Sheng went downstairs and brought Shen Ruoyi, who had already put on her clothes. Then, she walked to Grandpa Sheng. Eldest brother Sheng quickly explained when he saw that. Father, it's not what you think. Are you trying to tell me that a man and a woman are alone in a room and you are just talking about poems? Grandpa Sheng sounded very angry. Bastard, are you still a human? You are not looking for anyone. You are not stealing from anyone. Why are you looking for the Shen family? Huh? Is this something you can do? Father, I think you have to cure this problem of yours. Xiao Qin has the evidence about what happened tonight. She will share it with the Shen family later. If I find out that you are fooling around outside, you will lose your identity as the eldest young master of the Xing family. Grandpa Sheng threatened. Eldest brother Xing knew that Grandpa Sheng was very angry. So, he could only give in. After all, he had caught Shen Ruoyi in bed. What about Shen Ruoyi? She lowered her head and knelt on the floor. She did not have the face to look at Grandpa Sheng. Ruoyi, you are a lady from a respectable family. Why did you do such an outrageous thing? She was caught in bed. It would have been better if she was caught by eldest brother Sheng's wife. But, it was Grandpa Sheng. He was an elder. What else did she have at this moment other than shame and anger? Just like how she was wearing clothes now. But, it was no different from not wearing anything. Shen Ruoyi looked up and saw Xing Minghui. Her eyes were filled with hatred. Xing Minghui, why did you tell me? Did you want to kick me away after using me? Xing Minghui's face turned green when she heard that. It has nothing to do with me, you are a member of the Shen family. It is not easy for me to deal with you. So, I will pass these photos to your grandfather. Shen Ruoyi, among the noble families, even the little girl from the Lu family is better than you. Because you treat yourself as a prostitute. I did not expect that you would have designs on eldest brother. You are even willing to be eldest brother's lover. You will be the sinner of the Xing family for doing such a shameful thing. As long as you are in the territory of the Xing family, you will not be spared. But, you have to go through Grandpa Shen first. After all, no matter how bad you are, you still have the blood of the Shen family. She was caught red-handed by Grandpa Sheng. Shen Rui knew that she might not have a chance to make a comeback in this life. She thought that she could still stir up some trouble. But now, it seemed that she was just a piece of meat on someone else's chopping board. Shao Qin sends Shen Rui back to the Shen family with the butler later. Grandpa Sheng, can you let me go? Shen Rui knew that she was going back to the Shen family. So, she quickly looked up and begged. Chapter 3:15. Xing Minghui was stunned when she heard that. She knelt down on the ground immediately. Grandpa Xing glanced at her and said, "It's not too late to kneel down when we get home. Eldest brother, change your clothes now and go back to the Xing family. We will settle the score tonight." Xing Minghui felt as if she had been struck by lightning when she heard that. Because she had a feeling that Grandpa Sheng would not let her go so easily this time. Soon, Grandpa Xing brought eldest brother and Xing Minghui back to the Xing family. The rest of the Xing family also received the news that Grandpa Sheng wanted all the Xings in Jianchuan to be present tonight. So, it was not hard to imagine how serious this matter was. Xing Minghui knelt in the living room of the Xing family like a sinner. The rest of the Xing family, including Xing Xiao and Mu Qiqi, came to the Xing family. Xing Minghui's father was present. But he could not do anything to his daughter. So, he just let her be. After all, he still had a son. So, he did not find it strange that Xing Minghui was kneeling in front of him. He could only look at her coldly. Xing Minghui kept crying. But, even the gods could not save her this time. About an hour later, the living room of the Xing family became quiet. Because everyone was looking at Xing Minghui. "Eldest brother, come out first." Eldest brother sighed helplessly. He walked to Xing Minghui and faced Grandpa Sheng. "Grandpa, this person. This is the one. He is so daring. He could have any mistresses. Do you know who he is fooling around with? With Shen Rui. Xing Xiao is unmarried. I don't mind. But how long have you been married? Being lecherous is not the limit. After all, this bastard has done many affairs over the years. But, can you use your brain? You are being tricked by your own sister and you don't even know it. Why do you think Shen Rui came to you? Because she knows that you are lecherous. She knows that you are easy to fool. What happened today is a reminder to you, eldest brother. If you do anything wrong to your wife, don't ever appear in front of me again. I can't afford to lose my face." It was the first time that his private life was mentioned in front of so many people in the Xing family. But, it also meant that Grandpa Sheng could not stand it anymore. Therefore, the eldest could only admit that he was unlucky. "I understand, Grandpa. Get lost if you got it. Let's settle the score with this idiot today." Grandpa Sheng turned to Xing Minghui. Then, he walked up to seventh sister, pinched her chin and asked her, "What were you thinking? Why would you introduce a lover to your brother? Is your brain damaged? Or are you blind? Are you sick?" Grandpa Sheng asked as he patted Xing Minghui's face. "Introducing mistresses to my brother? How did you do that?" In Xing Minghui's eyes, there was only fear and horror. "You still want to contact the Lu family? You even leaked Huang Yao's secrets? If it was in the past, I would have strangled you to death. You're lucky to be born in a society ruled by law. Xing Minghui, how many chances have I given you? Ever since you brought a woman home for eighth brother, I've noticed that your way of thinking is very strange. Can you tell me what's wrong with you?" Xing Minghui couldn't stop sobbing. She cried so hard that she couldn't control herself. Meanwhile, the Xing family simply watched, and could only watch. What's wrong with me? I even wanted to hand over the planning department to you. But what did you do? Are you worthy of all the years of training I've given you? Xing Minghui sobbed. She could only hug Grandpa Xing's leg tightly. Grandpa, I'm wrong. I'm really wrong. It's because Mu Chi-Chi always went against me. That's why I was bewitched. That's why I did such a stupid thing. It's not that Mu Chi-Chi went against you. It's just that you can't bear to see someone better than you. Grandpa Xing corrected her. Xing Xiao looked at Xing Minghui coldly. Then, he held her hand. It was rare for the old man to speak a word of justice. Grandpa, it's not like that. I really didn't do it. I did it for the Xing family. You leaked the information about Huang Yao for the Xing family? Xing Minghui could not argue back. So, she hugged Grandpa Xing's leg tightly. However, Grandpa Xing shook her off completely. What right do I have to be your grandfather? Did I teach you to betray your brother and your family? Everyone is here today. Including Xing Minghui's father. The Xing family cannot tolerate this person anymore. I don't want to see her ever again. So, I've asked all of you to come here today. I want all of you to know that this person is officially removed from the Xing family. In the future, if I find out that any of you are related to this person, don't blame me for being merciless. Xing Minghui was stunned when she heard what Grandpa Xing said. She couldn't say a word because she knew that it was useless to beg for mercy. So, she turned around and looked at Mu Chi-Chi with extreme hatred in her eyes. Mu Chi-Chi, you set me up, didn't you? You told Grandpa about it, didn't you? Butler, pack her things now. Send her out of the Xing family tonight. Other than her clothes, don't let her take anything from the Xing family. Not even a piece of cloth. Yes, master. The butler left immediately. He did not give Xing Minghui any chance. Then, the butler went to Xing Minghui's room. Seeing that there was nothing she could do, Xing Minghui sat on the floor helplessly. She looked around at everyone in the Xing family, including her father. Father, please save me. Her father just sat where he was and waved his hand. How could he not be upset? But was there any use in being upset? When Xing Minghui saw that she could not plead with the person closest to her, she finally turned her gaze to her enemy, Mu Chi-Chi. Mu Chi-Chi, please save me. I was wrong. I shouldn't have gone against you. Mu Chi-Chi looked at Xing Minghui kowtowing and begging. She felt emotional. That was the path of humans. When you lost your conscience and made a deal with the devil, you should have thought of this day. You've just left the Xing family. You still have your hands to support yourself. Your sorrow now is because you are about to lose your glamorous appearance and luxurious life. Why do you want me to save you? You're still alive. Soon, the Xing family who had been watching the show left the hall. Then, the butler took Xing Minghui's luggage and came to her side. Miss Sheng, please. Eldest brother Sheng was scared when he saw Xing Minghui's tragic ending. This was the limit of Grandpa's patience. Of course, Mu Chi-Chi did not think that she had one. Because one day, she might get the same treatment as Xing Minghui. When Grandpa Xing found a suitable wife for Xiao Xiao. But she would not end up like Xing Minghui. Chapter 316. Mama Xing sent Shen Rui back to the Shen family. Although Grandpa Shen was mentally prepared, he was still disappointed and sad when he saw Shen Rui being sent back to the Shen family. Xiao Qin, I'm sorry for causing trouble to the Xing family. Grandpa Shen Rui is indeed at fault. But, seventh sister is responsible for it. So, don't blame yourself too much. Mama Xing comforted Grandpa Shen. I've sent the photo to Huang Yu. I've also sent her back. I'm going back to the Xing family now. Huang Yu, send Xiao Qin off. Grandpa Shen waved his hand and asked Huang Yu to send her off. Then, Grandpa Shen sat in the living room of the Shen family's courtyard. He looked at Shen Rui who was lying on the ground. He patted his knee and spoke after a while. I've been innocent all my life. I didn't expect to meet a bastard like you when I'm so old. Shenrui was lying on the ground. She looked really pathetic. Grandpa, ask yourself. Have you never sided with Muchichi since she came to the Shin family? Shenrui was still trying to defend herself. I can only do whatever I can when I meet a bastard like Muchichi. Even now, you're still trying to push your mistake onto Chichi? The old man's hands, which were on his knees, couldn't help but tremble. I don't want to talk to you about any big principles now. It's impossible to talk to animals. What do you want now? Do I still have a choice? Shenrui sneered. Don't you have the scented pills given by the Shing family? Since you know your place, it's easy. Get ready to join the army. Shenruoi's face turned pale when she heard the word join the army. She was such a delicate young lady. She would never see the light of day in the army. Moreover, she would be stuck in the army for 2 years. When she came out, Jianchuan would be a whole new world. Grandpa, do you really want to torture me to death? I do want you dead, but I don't want you to humiliate the Shin family and dirty the Shin family. If you don't go, Huang Yu's evidence will be sent to the media. Since you are already so shameless, then let's be shameless too. Did Shenrui have any other choice? Moreover, Grandpa Shing had already said that he would come after her if he saw her anywhere within the Shing family's sphere of influence. In that case, going to the army was the best place for her at the moment. Grandpa, you really care about me. You've done enough evil. Wake up. From now on, train well in the army. When you come out, you'll be reborn. Moreover, according to Grandpa Shin's arrangement, Shenlin and Shenrui were not going to join the army in the same place. The place where he wanted Shenrui to go was very harsh. He wanted Shenrui to suffer a lot. Shenlin, keep an eye on that crazy woman when you arrive at the army. Huang Yu instructed her son. However, Grandpa Shin rejected Huang Yu's suggestion. Shenlin is going there to fight. There is no need for him to care about an outsider. Moreover, they are not in the same battle zone. Huang Yu was stunned for a moment. She realized that Grandpa Sheng was actually very black-bellied. But, Dad, can this change Shenrui completely? Does it matter whether I change it or not? Since she has entered the army, she won't be able to come out easily in the future. All in all, one young lady from the Sheng and Shin families was sent out of the house in different ways that night. They could not touch or hit the evil people. What else could they do? They could only throw them out and let them die by themselves. In this way, the 2 elders could be considered to have one less thing to worry about. The one who came up with the idea was Muchichi. So, Grandpa Sheng suppressed his hatred for her for the time being. He gave her a special privilege. She could dress up and attend the VVIP night in Huangyao. Actually, Muchichi wanted to see the result of her plan. She wanted to know if young Master Lu could get his wife back. So, when Mama Sheng told her the news, she was very happy. At the very least, old Sheng was not being too cruel when he exploited her. In the evening of the next day, Grandpa Shen ordered Shenlin to send Shenrui to the designated recruitment point to attend the selection of female soldiers. Shenrui wanted to run away when she saw Shenlin was the one who sent her. After all, she thought that Shenlin could not control her and was not as smart as her. But, Shenlin was not the same Shenlin who was hurt by Yu Jing. After he received the task from Grandpa Shen, he packed up his things that night. Before they left, he warned Shenrui. I won't stop you if you want to run away. But, I will send those photos to the media. You are not a man at all. How dare you threaten a woman? You are a woman. But, you are a promiscuous woman. Shenlin looked at Shenrui coldly. Don't talk nonsense with me. If you want to run away, just run away. If not, just listen to me. What else could Shenrui do? After all, Grandpa Shen had something on her. She had no other choice but to listen to him. Shen Lin seemed to be helping Muqiqi. So, he spent a lot of effort to take care of Shen Ruoyi on the way. Soon, the car reached a higher altitude. It was far away from the hustle and bustle of the city. This time, Shen Ruoyi finally knew that Grandpa Shen was going to send her to the ends of the earth. If it was in the ancient times, it would be considered as an exile. Now that Shen Ruoyi was not in Jianchuan and she would not see Xing Minghui again, Muqiqi felt much more relaxed. The next morning, Muqiqi woke up. She wanted to look for jewelry that she could wear tonight. But, she found the birthday gift that Lu Qianqian gave her last time in the drawer. She opened it and saw all kinds of sexy condoms. She did not know where did Lu Qianqian get them from. Muqiqi blushed. She quickly kept the box. But, Xing Xiao saw it when he walked out of the bathroom. Xing Xiao held her hand and couldn't help smiling. Let's try it tonight, I didn't know that Qianqian would give me these. Xing Xiao pulled Muqiqi to the bed and put her between his legs. He looked at her and said, that's because Lu Qianqian knows what you need. I don't need it. I think you need it. Yes, it's what I need. Xing Xiao held Muqiqi's head and kissed her forehead. I will come back to pick you up in the evening. Let's go to the heartwarming place tonight. Okay. Muqiqi nodded. Chapter 317. There were only 2 young ladies in the Xing family. Now that Xing Minghui was completely chased out of the family, Grandpa Xing naturally thought of bringing Xing Minglan home. And Will, who had just been engaged to Xing Minghui, knew that his fiancée had become a pauper with nothing. Even if he was infatuated with her body, he would never marry her for real, although he could play around with her. That was why he went to Xing Mansion the next day and asked to cancel the engagement. Naturally, Grandpa Sheng would not force it since she was no longer with the Xing family, and so agreed to Will's request. However, Will shamelessly asked the old man if he could re-engage with Xing Minglan. He had dumped her on the night before the engagement, and now he was eyeing Xing Minglan. Get lost. That was all the old man said to Will. Foreigners would always be foreigners. They had no sense of ethics. Grandpa Sheng would never betray Xing Minglan again. Even so, he did want his granddaughter to return to him. Even so, would Xing Minglan be willing to come back now that she had her own company? Of course not. Moreover, Xing Minglan was with Jing Yun now. Even if they could only see each other once a day, she would be content and filled with happiness. That was how they agreed that Jing Yun would pick Xing Minglan up from the company after work at Huangyao. They would have dinner together, and Jing Yun would send Xing Minglan home to rest. Sometimes, Jing Yun would appear in the morning, such as now. Even if it was so simple, Xing Minglan treasured the time she could spend with Jing Yun. She would tell him about the company's situation, and take the chance to take advantage of him. Jing Yun obviously knew what she was trying to do, but he was very cooperative and never showed any signs of impatience. Sometimes, Xing Minglan would take the initiative to ask for a hug even on the streets. Perhaps she had been deprived of love for too long, or perhaps it was because Jing Yun's body smelled too good. Xing Minglan came up with countless such excuses for herself. Now that 7th sister is out of the family and there's no young lady in the Xing family, I have a feeling that Grandpa wants me back. But I don't want to go back at all. You could come out and work if you go back. That's different. If I wanted to see you, I wouldn't be so unscrupulous. Xing Minglan sounded a little sad. Jing Yun tightened his arms around Xing Minglan. Why do I feel so insecure? Burying her head in his arms, Xing Minglan no longer had the domineering air of a 4th miss of the Xing family or a domineering female CEO, and was now a helpless little bird. After all, everything else is secondary to me now. I just want to be with you. Holding the umbrella, Jing Yun passed the breakfast to Xing Minglan and sent her into the office. Since it was still early, there was almost no one in the office. Xing Minglan mustered up her courage and pulled his handsome face back the moment he turned around. Then, she kissed him. Jing Yun was stunned, but Xing Minglan closed her eyes. Jing Yun did not retreat. Instead, he kissed Xing Minglan's thin lips. He wanted to tell Xing Minglan that it was not that he did not have such a desire, but that he had been suppressing his feelings. Xing Minglan instantly sensed Jing Yun's fervent passion and responded accordingly. By the time they let go of each other, Xing Minglan's lipstick had been completely eaten by Jing Yun. "Let's go in, someone will see us if we don't go in." Xing Minglan nodded, and watched as Jing Yun left reluctantly. She knew that such a life would not last long, but she would try her best to maintain and cherish it. Tonight was Huang Yao's VVIP night. 2 days before the entrance of the publicity department, they had come up with a special promotional strategy, because they knew the direction of Huang Yao's VVIP night. By 6 in the evening, the luxury cars sent by Huang Yao had arrived at the homes of the ladies, because Huang Yao would be escorting the VIPs directly to their destinations. Until now, none of the Huang Yao guests knew that Huang Yao would have 2 main venues this time, and that Mrs. Lu and Mrs. Lu would be at different venues. Xing Xiao arrived at Jingting at 6:30 in the evening, and found that Mu Qiqi had already changed into a golden spaghetti strap dress. She looked young and confident, and even had the air of a fairy. Seeing Mu Qiqi like that, Xing Xiao could not wait to press her down on the bed and make love to her madly. Of course, in order to witness tonight's event together, he had to endure it for a while. They quickly set off, and arrived at the romantic Sven Hotel half an hour later. This was the main venue of Huang Yao, and the other venue was located 40 kilometers away. One was in the north, and the other was in the south. It was to prevent Mrs. Lu and Mrs. Lu from meeting each other. When the waiter saw them, he immediately led them into the venue. It was Mu Qiqi's first time seeing the layout of the venue. It seemed that the planning department had put in a lot of effort. Because it was a romantic theme, roses and scented candles were the main decorations in the room. Coupled with the dark lighting, the atmosphere was simply wonderful. "Is Mrs. Lu here?" Mu Qiqi could not help asking the person in charge of the planning department. "She just arrived. She is upstairs, looking for Mrs. Lu everywhere. Miss Mu, I don't think things will go smoothly tonight." "It's okay. Let me know immediately if there's an emergency." That night, most of the guests were discussing the event of Huang Yao. It was a refreshing experience from the moment they arranged the pick-up and drop-off. Of course, they were also looking forward to seeing if there would be a fight between Mrs. Lu and Mrs. Lu like before. However, the event started at 7 in the evening, but the guests found that there were only half of the people in the venue today. Where was the other half? And Mrs. Lu, of course, did not find Mrs. Lu, her enemy. Soon, it was 7 in the evening. All the screens in the venue immediately showed the scene of the other venue. The guests were shocked when they saw it. Where are they? Are they in Sven Hotel too? Are they upstairs or downstairs? This is so interesting. Huang Yao's event this time is very exciting. I like it. However, unlike the other guests, Mrs. Lu always came at this time of the year to cause trouble for her sister-in-law. Otherwise, there would be no point for her to attend the event. Chapter 318. Madam, I'm really sorry. The other venue is in the north of the city. It's about 2 hours from here, the attendant replied. Because of the traffic congestion in the city, 40 kilometers suddenly became extremely far. I see. First Madam smiled. Huang Yao is playing tricks this year, isn't it? You separated me from that bitch. Find the person in charge, or else I'll make a scene. The venue. How could the waiter bear the responsibility? He quickly went to Xing Xiao and Mu Qiqi. They looked at each other and quickly left the guests. They walked up to eldest Madame Lu. However, just as Mu Qiqi was about to speak, Mrs. Lu was about to slap her. But Xing Xiao grabbed her wrist and said coldly, "Do you know who you just touched?" Hee, Crown Prince. Eldest Mrs. Lu withdrew her hand and sneered. Your fiancé is so smart. She even thought of separating me from that bitch. But do you think I won't cause her trouble after separating us? You guys are too simple-minded. The other side should also be able to see these screens, right? In fact, Xing Xiao had predicted that this would happen. So, the fashion arena was half an hour late. In other words, they were still using the screen to do something else. Mu Qiqi was naturally angry since she was almost slapped. It was especially so when she saw that eldest Madame Lu was still clinging to her hatred after so many years and did not care about her husband. Mu Qiqi felt that eldest Madame Lu deserved it. However, even though he thought so, he still had to do what he had to do. First, madam, can you listen to me before you lose your temper? What? You still want to salvage your failed plan? Lady Lu coldly snorted. She was indeed very beautiful, especially when she was wearing a silver white dress. Her figure was very graceful. One could imagine how much effort she had put in to win against young Madame Lu. I just feel sorry for eldest young Master Lu. Mu Qiqi mentioned eldest Madame's husband. You only think about revenge, but you don't know that eldest young master used his own reputation to help you take revenge. He courageously married his brother's ex-wife and was stabbed in the back by millions of knives. But what about you? Have you ever thought about him? As far as I know, younger Madame Lu is already having her third child this year. However, you haven't given birth to any children for eldest young master. You have the title of eldest young master's wife and enjoy the treatment of a wife, but you haven't fulfilled the duties of a wife. Who do you think you are taking revenge on? Is that young Mrs. Lu? She's a mother of 3 now. Who did you hurt? Eldest Madame Lu froze at Mu Qiqi's words. After all, she had assumed that Mu Qiqi would talk nonsense to persuade her like any other person. She did not expect that Mu Qiqi would be so blunt. That's none of your business. It has nothing to do with me. I just feel that it's a pity. Do you know how much effort the eldest young master spent to give you such a precious gift? You can't even see the eldest young master in your eyes. You only know how to take revenge. But since you've taken revenge, why can your enemy still have 3 children and live happily? You only remember that you were betrayed. But have you ever thought about who held your hand when you fell into the abyss and gave you the position you have today? If it wasn't for the eldest young master, do you think you would still have the chance to stand here? Mu Qiqi criticized the woman in front of her angrily. The best revenge is to live a happier and more carefree life than that woman. You don't have to exhaust yourself and drag others down. How old is the eldest young master? How many years can he wait for you? Have you thought about it? Eldest Madame was silent. None of the people around her, not even her husband, had ever said such things to her. I've never seen a woman more selfish than you. You have such a good husband, but you don't want him. You hurt him so badly. If you really don't like the eldest young master and want revenge, you should just give up your position as his wife. Why would you let your benefactor get hurt? Eldest Madame burst into tears at that. After all, Mu Qiqi was accusing her of being a bad woman from head to toe. I hate being betrayed too. I've been hurt countless times, but it's to teach me how to distinguish between good and bad. It's so that I can cherish those who never leave me even when I'm in trouble. If you still want to take revenge, I won't stop you. Tonight, the reason why this place is so warm is because I want to give you and your wife a chance to open your hearts. If you still want to hold on to the past, then you can leave this place. I'll send someone to send you to another place. However, you have to know what you're going to lose tonight. I definitely can't have a husband anymore. No matter how much love I have, it will all disappear. Eldest Madame Lu suddenly panicked at Mu Qiqi's last few words. In fact, she was afraid that her husband could not let her go after so many years. But after Mu Qiqi said so much, she realized that she had been blinded by the situation. She had put all the hurt on her husband. Are you still leaving? Eldest Madame's feet were as heavy as lead. How could she still walk? Then I'll be honest with you. You can't see our conversation just now on the other side. I'll also tell you in advance that young Master Lu is here tonight. Having such a good husband is the biggest blow to that woman, isn't it? The corner of eldest Madame Lu's mouth trembled slightly. Tears were welling up in her eyes. If you still want to, you should let go now. Take revenge on those who hurt you in a brilliant way. Don't be the stupidest person. You'll hurt yourself while hurting your enemy. Can I? Mu Chichi asked eldest Madame Lu with utmost sincerity in the last 3 words. Eldest Madame Lu thought for a moment. Then, as if she had made up her mind, she said, I'll listen to your arrangement. Everyone present could not help but applaud eldest Madame Lu's courage. Mu Chichi felt relieved. Then, she smiled. If that's the case, there are many surprises waiting for you tonight. Enjoy it. Let the other side be envious of you. All the guests present gave Mu Chichi a thumbs up. She was the first person who dared to talk to eldest Madame Lu like that. Of course, it was a blow to the head. Then, Xing Xiao held Mu Chichi's waist and reminded her to look outside. Eldest Madame Lu was already at the entrance of the venue with a bouquet of roses. Everyone cheered as well. That was when the other side finally saw the scene. Chapter 319. If eldest sister Lu was a sentimental person who was obsessed with revenge, then the younger Mrs. Lu would be a shrewd person. She did not have a powerful background, but she knew that marrying into a rich family was the only way for her to have a few more sons. This kind of thing, couldn't it be learned from the newspapers? Moreover, after years of evolution, the younger Mrs. Lu had learned how to behave like a rich lady. She knew how to increase her value and how to make a man fall for her. All these years, she had been relying on the eldest Mrs. Lu to target her. Tonight was the VVIP night of Huangyao. Rumor had it that this event was planned by the 18-year-old bride of the Xing family. When she appeared in the main venue of the fashion show, she had a hunch that this 18-year-old girl would not be easy to deal with. Because she had participated in so many events of Huangyao. But this was the only time she felt that the VVIP night of Huangyao had been reborn. The main venue of the fashion show was full of singing and dancing. But it did not have the tacky atmosphere of a nightclub. It was very fashionable and special. Most importantly, there would be countless Easter eggs tonight. Huangyao would show the latest season's new products to the VIPs. This was a privilege that only the VIPs could have. Looking at her side, the younger Mrs. Lu could not help but feel disappointed when her rival was not there. But soon, the live broadcast from the main venue of the fashion show changed. At this time, the people in the main venue of the fashion show finally understood that Huangyao had arranged 2 main venues. Of course, they thought that the main venue of the fashion show would be upstairs or downstairs. But, the waiter told them that the main venue of the fashion show was on the other side of the city. This kind of exciting arrangement was novel even for the people from the warm home, not to mention the trendy wives who were always studying fashion. So, they were very satisfied with the arrangement of Huangyao. They were very surprised. At this time, the screen in the main venue of the fashion show was showing the eldest Lu's son entering the main venue of the fashion show with roses in his hand. He walked straight to the eldest Mrs. Lu and knelt down in front of her. Zixin, I don't know if you are ready to be my real wife. But, I still want to take this opportunity to give it a try. Seeing this, younger Mrs. Lu took a sip of whiskey and sneered. This woman only has revenge in her heart. How can she have time for love? It was also because the First Lady was focused on revenge that the little madam was quite proud of herself. As young Master Lu entered, the beautiful sound of the violin began to play. Mrs. Lu looked at her husband and thought of what Mu Chichi had said to her just now. Of course, she was touched and guilty. So, she covered her mouth and cried out loud. At the same time, she reached out and pulled her husband up. Do you still want me? Seeing the 2 of them hugging each other tightly, the crowd burst into applause. Of course I'm willing. I've been waiting for you to come back. Eldest Mrs. Lu nodded and hugged her husband tightly. At this time, the treasures of the heartwarming home ground were also sent over. The waiter carefully pushed the set of precious jewelry in front of the crowd and introduced it to them. This set of jewelry is called Match Made in Heaven. It was a famous piece of Huang Yao's early years. But because Huang Yao was in a crisis, unfortunately, this set of jewelry was auctioned by the CEO at that time. It has been circulating abroad for many years. Fortunately, young Master Lu has found it. He wants to give this set of jewelry to his beloved wife, Miss Zhang Zixin. He hopes that she can understand that she is the happiest woman in the world. Everyone was amazed when the set of jewelry was presented. It was a priceless treasure for both Huang Yao and the guests. But now, it was given to eldest Mrs. Lu. It was priceless. The guests were all amazed by the brilliance of the set of jewelry. Mrs. Lu could not hold back her tears no matter how hard she tried. She said, "For so many years, I have been obsessed with the past and failed to be a good wife. I really feel guilty. In the future, I will take good care of you, take good care of this family, and give birth to the cutest baby for you." Eldest Lu put the set of jewelry on eldest Mrs. Lu and said, "You don't have to compare yourself with anyone. Because I am the one who can give you happiness more than my brother. You are the biggest blow to them since the day you married me." Then, the two of them hugged each other tightly. At that moment, music suitable for dancing started playing. Eldest Mrs. Lu looked at the two of them on the screen. She was the one who felt uncomfortable now. Because at this moment, the sense of accomplishment she felt when she took everything away from eldest Mrs. Lu was gone. More importantly, that bitch actually had such a priceless set of jewelry. On the other hand, although her husband did not go out to fool around, their love for each other was getting worse day by day. Not to mention jewelry, she rarely saw gifts now. Moreover, he was always working overtime in the company. And this was the result of her hard work. If she did not work hard, her husband would have found a new lover. Mu Qiqi was very pleased to see this. She leaned on Xing Zhao's chest and smiled. "Xiao Xiao, don't you think this is good? I really don't understand why eldest Mrs. Lu is so obsessed with revenge." Xing Zhao's eyes were charming. Under the romantic and warm light, he hugged the little one in his arms. The event of Huang Yao this time would be reported in the news. Sure enough, the little one's ability was endless. She was also a little one who made him proud. Now, as long as we are sure that there is no problem at the main venue of the fashion show, we should be safe tonight, right? I will remember you in my heart. What's the use of that? Mu Qiqi could not help but snort. Grandpa Sheng wanted Xing Minghui to take all the credit. Be good. I will reward you well tonight. Pfft, that bastard. He was obviously asking for benefits for himself. However, when the two of them were getting intimate, eldest Lu came to them and thanked them. "Miss Mu, I really have to thank you for helping me get my wife back. When you came to me at first, I thought you were just fooling around. I am sorry for my attitude back then. If you really want to thank me, you should take revenge for your wife. She has had enough of it for so many years. Don't worry. No, I don't want to take revenge. That bitch is the mother of 3 children now. I don't want to be a sinner." Mrs. Lu came to them and held her husband's hand. She said to them, "Those who owe you emotionally will betray you, and they will also betray her. Let's see what happens to her." Chapter 320. Because there was something that he had considered for a long time but did not tell his wife. It was that his brother had another female star outside. Because he pitted his 3 nephews and nieces. He did not want his wife, which made him even more ridiculous. Now that his wife had let it go, then, it would not hurt to say it out. The popular female singer, Mengru, is his new sweetheart. Mu Qiqi and Madame Lu were stunned after hearing what eldest Lu said. "Is that true?" "Zixin, I hid it from you, I know." Mrs. Lu quickly interrupted her husband. Because you don't want to push me into the abyss of hatred. If it was not for the event in Huang Yao and Sister Chi-Chi's reminder, I would definitely take revenge on that bitch if I knew about it. If that happened, their 3 children would hate me very much. I just did not expect that bitch to snatch a piece of trash after all these years. This way, my heart will feel more comfortable. In the future, I will be able to live more wholeheartedly. Because Mrs. Lu was a smart woman. She would soon find out what her husband was doing. That was the consequence of being a mistress. There were only 0 or countless times of cheating. I think this is worth a drink. Crown Prince, do you want a drink? Mr. Lu asked Xing Shao. To thank you, I have brought Lafite. Xing Shao did not move at first. Then, he hugged his little one and said, it would be impolite to refuse. Seeing that, Mrs. Lu held Mu Chi-Chi's hand warmly. Let's keep in touch in the future. I am really grateful to you. I hope to be friends with you. Okay. Let's have dinner together when we have time. Mu Chi-Chi nodded. At the same time, the younger Mrs. Lu was irritated by what had happened to Mrs. Lu. She called her husband. Do you know what your brother bought for that bitch? Priceless jewelry. But what about you? Darling, I have handed over all my financial power. Are you still not satisfied? Go and buy whatever you like. After that, the man hung up the phone. Younger Mrs. Lu could only stand in the corridor angrily. At this time, a long-haired woman in a white dress walked to younger Mrs. Lu and said, last week, someone saw your husband shopping with a female star. They were hugging each other intimately. Nonsense. Do I need to lie to you? They're just pitiful people in this circle. Then the woman took out her phone and showed her a photo. I was wondering why Meng Ru suddenly became popular recently. Turns out it's all because of your husband. Younger Mrs. Lu was stunned when she saw the picture. I'm at home giving birth to this bastard, and he's actually out fooling around? Forgive me for being blunt, but aren't you the one who hooked up with him? The woman laughed. It's not that I'm being nosy, but Meng Ru is an artist in my brother's company. She's always restless. I'm afraid that she's plotting something against my brother, so I sent someone to follow her. I didn't expect that. It's a gift for you tonight. Younger Mrs. Lu clenched her fists after hearing that. She could not control herself at all. So, she did not finish the event in Huangyao. Instead, she called her husband again. Where are you? I'm working overtime in the company. Then, she went to her husband's company, but there was no one there. Then, she went online to check Meng Ru's whereabouts. She knew that she was attending an event and was resting in one of the hotels. So, she drove there and took out a small package. She asked the receptionist, "This is Mr. Lu Changfeng's thing. He asked me to bring it to him, but I don't have his room number. Can you pass it to him for me?" "Yes, ma'am." Then, younger Mrs. Lu hid in a corner. The receptionist called the room number. About 5 minutes later, she saw her husband coming downstairs. Then, she paid the waiter to follow her husband upstairs to see which room he was staying in. Soon, the waiter told her that he was staying in the room next to Meng Ru's. After knowing the news, younger Mrs. Lu's body trembled. She could finally understand how eldest Mrs. Lu felt. She wanted to go up and tear that mistress into pieces. No, to prevent herself from ending up like eldest Mrs. Lu, younger Mrs. Lu immediately called her people. She wanted to catch the bastard in the act and get the evidence. Then, she would have the right to speak in court. Stealing was stealing after all. She did not expect her retribution to come so soon. No, she didn't even know that what she had stolen was a bomb that had been planted a long time ago. That night, Huang Yao's event was very successful. Both the main venues were highly praised by the guests. The next day, some pictures of Huang Yao's event were also on the hot search list. Of course, it was a hot topic. Following this topic, there was another piece of gossip on the list. The popular female singer, Meng Ru, was caught in the act last night. She was the lover of the second son of the Lu family. Seeing this, eldest Mrs. Lu could understand why that bitch was not there last night. It turned out that she had gone to catch the adulterer. She always knew that bitch was smart. But no matter how smart she would still be betrayed by that man. Still, she did not expect that younger Mrs. Lu would find out so quickly. Huang Yao's event had a beautiful turnaround. And Mu Qiqi, the main planner, was also being talked about. Wasn't she the young bride of the Xing family? She was already engaged to the crown prince at the age of 18. And with the success of the event, it turned out that she was not only young, but also very creative. Everyone began to agree with Xing Zhao's judgment. She was not just full of collagen. She was also very capable. On the other hand, the matter of the Lu family was also on the entertainment gossip list. Eldest Mrs. Lu announced that she had given up on revenge last night. And younger Mrs. Lu went to catch her husband in the act. It must be said that it was very ironic. Mu Qiqi liked watching dramas, especially such a good one. It was said that there was a cycle of karma. But she did not expect that the consequences would be so violent. The next day, Huang Yao announced another celebration banquet. And Grandpa Xing called Xing Xiao and asked him to bring Mu Qiqi home. Even if Grandpa Xing did not acknowledge Mu Qiqi, he had to give Mu Qiqi a reward. Who asked her to organize Huang Yao's event so beautifully? Chapter 321. And yet, there had been no news of seventh sister for days after she was chased out of the Xing family, and the Xing family certainly did not dare to contact her. Even so, sixth brother was furious when he returned from a business trip. After all, seventh sister was his own sister. And she was chased out of the house by the old man just like that? That was why he went to Grandpa Xing the moment he got home. Grandpa, no matter how wrong seventh sister is, she is still the blood of the Xing family and the roots of the Xing family. It's unacceptable that you would chase your own granddaughter away for an outsider. Don't you know what your sister has done? Old Master Xing retorted. Even so, you have punished her. Can't I, her brother, help her? She is the young lady of the Xing family. How could she live if she is kicked out like this? Sixth brother, watch your tone. Who doesn't know that you love eighth brother the most in this family? Now, even if eighth brother wants the moon in the sky, you will help him get it. Moreover, you are just chasing your own granddaughter out? Sixth brother snorted coldly. All right, you family have dinner tonight. I will go out to look for my sister. Old Xing could not help taking a deep breath. But there was nothing he could do about sixth brother. After all, seventh sister was his own sister. And when sixth brother left the Xing residence, he ran into Xing Xiao and Mu Qiqi entering the house. His rage flared when he saw them. You've chased your own sister out for a woman like that. You're really something, eighth brother. Xing Xiao knew that dinner was not going to be a good one at that, and smiled in return. What do you look like? Is this the first time you've seen me? Femme fatale. Do you really think that grandfather would tolerate her? He would still have to wait for 2 years, and break up when you get tired of her. Xing Xiao, do you think it's worth it to hurt your own sister for a little girlfriend you would break up with sooner or later? Xing Xiao shielded Mu Qiqi and rolled his eyes. Who said we would break up? It's only a matter of time. With that, sixth brother walked past them and left the Xing residence. That was when the old man came out, his face equally gloomy. Eighth brother, you two come in. Xing Xiao put his arm around Mu Qiqi and the two of them followed Grandpa Xing into his study. In order not to anger sixth brother, Mu Qiqi should not return to the Xing family for now. That way, we can avoid conflicts. In fact, Grandpa Xing was regretting chasing Xing Minghui away. After all, she was his granddaughter. No matter how angry he was, it would be over soon. So, in retrospect, Grandpa Xing was now blaming Mu Qiqi for everything. Did you ask us to come back just to say that? The look in Xing Zhao's eyes was clearly unpleasant. It was a sign that he was about to get angry. Also, you did a good job with the Huang Yao event. It was just a casual compliment, and it didn't come from his heart. The old man just brushed it off. He didn't even think about how he had made things difficult for others before. Now you're starting to regret it. Old Seven was driven away, right? That's why you can't be bothered to see Chi. Moreover, you're even more upset after sixth brother made a fuss, right? Eighth brother, don't be like your sixth brother. Go against me at this time. The dinner tonight is cancelled. You two should go back. Grandpa Xing said to them impatiently. What did he mean by being fickle? That was it. Mu Qiqi didn't want Xing Xiao to argue with Grandpa Xing. So, she pulled him and said, Xiao Xiao, let's go home. Xing Xiao didn't say anything else. He just held Mu Qiqi in his arms. Let your sixth brother negotiate the contract tomorrow. Bring your seventh sister back too. Pretend that nothing happened. Just pretend that I don't exist in the Xing family. Having said that, Xing Xiao turned around and walked out of the study without looking back. However, when he entered the dining room and saw the rich dishes, Xing Xiao didn't say anything. He signaled the servants to flip the table so that no one could eat. Grandpa Xing was also very angry, especially when Xing Xiao threatened him. Could it be that Huang Yao couldn't succeed without him, the crown prince? Tomorrow, he would ask sixth brother to hand over all the projects that Xing Xiao was currently working on to him. Mama Xing didn't know what happened at all. She only heard from the butler that sixth brother left angrily. Then, Xing Xiao and Grandpa Xing had a big fight. After that, Xing Xiao asked the servants to flip the table. Grandpa Xing also came late at night and gave the order to hand over all the projects that Xing Xiao was working on to sixth brother. Did that mean that he wanted to change the crown prince? After Mama Xing heard that, she knew that this incident was caused by Grandpa Xing's fickle emotions. So, she didn't want to persuade her son to bow down to him. No one wanted their child to be wronged. If sixth brother could do what Xing Xiao did, he wouldn't have been doing nothing for so many years. But since Grandpa Xing wanted to make this bet, she would make it. Anyway, she would never let her child be wronged for the sake of harmony. On the way back, Mu Qiqi looked at Xing Xiao worriedly. Because in her impression, Xing Xiao had never been so angry for anyone. Why? Are you blaming yourself again? No. Mu Qiqi quickly shook her head. I'm just worried that you're too angry. Little one, I didn't dote on you for nothing. Xing Xiao laughed in anger and brought Mu Qiqi back to Jingting. Then, he threw her a laptop and a gold card. You're on vacation anyway. Let's find a nice place and go on a trip. Are you serious? Didn't you hear what Grandpa said? Let sixth brother take over. Xing Xiao pinched Mu Qiqi's chin. I couldn't ask for more. Then I'll really find a place. Xing Xiao kissed her on the lips and nodded. Find someone you like. While you're at it, let's see how capable sixth brother is. Was Grandpa Xing trying to keep Xing Xiao in check? That old man really didn't understand his grandson. Xing Xiao was never one to care about those things, and he didn't care about his status in Huang Yao. If Grandpa Xing dared to blacklist him in Jianchuan, he could make him regret it for the rest of his life. After all, Xing Xiao was a man who wouldn't be swayed by force or persuasion. Since the Xing family didn't acknowledge Qi, he didn't need their acknowledgement either. Xing Minglan heard the news from Jing Yun in the middle of the night. She wanted to call Xing Xiao and comfort him. But when she thought about it, she decided to let Xing Xiao vent his anger. It was obvious that Grandpa Xing was being irresponsible this time. It was unreasonable. Although, he was never reasonable. But against an opponent like Xing Xiao, it was like a king meeting a king, a checkmate. Chapter 322. Sixth brother did not manage to find Xing Minghui as he wished. Even with Grandpa Xing's tacit approval, Xing Minghui seemed to have vanished from the face of the earth. There was no news of him no matter how hard he tried. This made sixth brother hate Mu Qiqi even more. Who asked Mu Qiqi to lose his sister? Even so, it was not all bad. Because Grandpa Xing finally knew how arrogant Xing Xiao was. He was going to kick him out of Huangyao. In fact, what power did Xing Xiao have in Huangyao all these years? He paid the most but got the least in return. Moreover, he was hated by the Xing family. If that was the case, and if the other members of the Xing family were so powerful, then let sixth brother take over. When that time comes, Grandpa Xing better not go to him and beg him. How could Grandpa Xing not know how important Xing Xiao was to Huangyao? However, he didn't like eighth brother's threatening face. He didn't believe that if one person wasn't as good as eighth brother, he would find 10 people to replace him. There were so many capable people in the world. How could he not find someone to replace that bastard? Since he wanted to fool around with Mu Qiqi, then he would fulfill his wish. The next day, Grandpa Xing announced to the public that his sixth grandson would temporarily take over Xing Zhao's work. He also asked Jing Yun to hand over the documents to sixth brother. There was an uproar in Huangyao. What was Grandpa Xing doing? Jing Yun was very straightforward. He threw all the documents that piled up like a mountain to sixth brother. When sixth brother saw it, he immediately said to Jing Yun, are you joking? You want me to deal with all these? This is only 1/3 of what young master has dealt with before. There will be more later. Sixth brother was shocked. You mean, eighth brother used to deal with it like this? This is only 1/3 of what we have today. Jing Yun explained and left the office. Then, he went to Mama Xing and said, Madam, I have been with young master since I was young. Since the chairman has changed and no longer values young master, I will apply for a transfer. Or, you can fire me. Jing Yun, you can't leave. You know very well how messy sixth brother will be. I'm not asking you to interfere. You just need to remember everything so that when eighth brother comes back in the future, it won't be so difficult for him to deal with it. Mama Xing said to Jing Yun. I know you feel indignant for Xing Xiao. So do I. But I will not tolerate anyone bullying my son. Even if he wants to leave Huangyao, it is his own will. Jing Yun nodded. But I will not pay for sixth young master's mistake. Jing Yun, you are meticulous and mature. I'm not worried about you at all. Since Madam said so, then he would do so. It was also a good chance for the old man to understand that if Huangyao had not had Xing Xiao all these years, how could they talk about expanding their territory? How could they talk about grand ambitions? Dream on. The situation in Huangyao seemed to be very tense, but the person who stepped down was very relaxed in Jingting. He did not have to wake up early or read the piles of documents. Xing Xiao could hug his little one and sleep until he woke up naturally. He would exercise in the morning and read medical books with her in the afternoon. Such leisure time was not something he could have at any time. I asked you to pick a place to go. Have you decided? For example, right now, Mu Qiqi was leaning against Xing Zhao's chest and flipping through a book when she suddenly heard the question. Mu Qiqi turned to look at Xing Xiao and shook her head. I don't know where to go. I don't know if I should go. What are you afraid of? Xing Xiao asked her in return. Afraid that I will lose my position as the crown prince, or afraid that I will become poor and can't afford to support you? I'm afraid that you won't be able to be happy no matter how far you go. After Xing Xiao heard that, he closed her medical book. I have patience. This time, Xing Xiao had made up his mind to compete with the old man. That was why he might not agree even if the old man begged him to go back. He had done so much for Huangyao over the years. How could the old man replace him just like that? If he could, he would return all the hard work he had put in over the years. He could at least make Huangyao's business go back by more than 10 years. That was why Xing Xiao received countless phone calls during the day at home. All of them were the same. It has nothing to do with me. You can break the contract if you want. Or should I introduce you to a better supplier? I don't want the counter anymore. I won't renew the contract. In just one day, 10% of the contracts in Xing Zhao's hands had been terminated. When the old man learned about it, he flew into a rage. Since he wants to play like this, I'll play with him to the end. Even Mama Sheng was dismissive of the old man's vow. Did he really think that Xing Xiao had been relying on Huang Yao all these years? In the evening, Xing Minglan spoke to Mama Sheng on the phone. She knew that the old man and Xing Xiao were really angry. That was why she rushed to Jingting with Jingyun at night. But when she saw that Xing Xiao was still so carefree, she was really, I've worried about you for nothing. You should at least cooperate with the old man and show some fear. I'm very scared now. Xing Xiao hugged Muqiqi, his face languid. Xing Minglan couldn't help chuckling. No one can do anything to you. Xing Xiao looked at Xing Minglan, and then at Jingyun. You don't have to come and see me. If you have the time, you might as well play with Jingyun. But if you do that, the old man will hold a grudge against Muqiqi even more. No matter what, he will blame it on Muqiqi. Do you think he will forget it if I give in? Xing Xiao asked Xing Minglan in return. He never planned to accept Qi from the start. Of course, he won't let us get married. But it doesn't matter. I have other plans. Xing Xiao knew the old man's thoughts and behavior better than anyone else. That was why he would never give in. If he gave in now, the old man would have endless troubles in the future. So you are going to stay at home all this time? Not do anything? When I have time, I'll visit my father-in-law, my aunt, and bring Qi around. Xing Minglan sweated at Xing Zhao's answer. The Xing family was like ants on a hot pan, but he did not seem to be in a hurry at all. Well, it was time for the old man to rein in his desire for control. There was really nothing he could do against a cunning and black-bellied grandson like Xing Xiao. After dinner, Xing Minglan and Jingyun left Jingting. Xing Minglan couldn't help chuckling when she thought of Xing Zhao's carefree face. Grandpa really doesn't understand how much he hurts Xing Zhao's heart by doing this. Chapter 323. So, young master will make Huang Yao bleed this time, Jingyun replied. He will leave a deep impression on the chairman. I hope Grandpa can learn his lesson too. But, won't Xing Xiao, it's almost impossible for the chairman to suppress young master. You should know that young master is friends with people from all walks of life. Even foreign princes will show him some respect. Under such circumstances, the chairman can't do anything to young master other than to stop him from interfering with Huang Yao's business. And young master's savings can last him for several lifetimes even if he doesn't work in this life. Xing Minglan nodded in relief. Xing Xiao was the most cunning person in the Xing family. Even a cunning rabbit would have 3 burrows, not to mention someone as smart as Xing Xiao. So, she was worried for nothing. Grandpa, you are so heartless sometimes. Are you afraid? If he can treat young master like this, he can treat us like this in the future. Jingyun suddenly asked Xing Minglan. But Xing Minglan was not afraid at all. She leaned her head on Jingyun's shoulder and replied, I will follow you no matter what. After Xing Minglan and Jingyun left, Muqiqi looked at Xing Xiao and asked, Are you going to the Xin family to see Dad? I haven't fished for a long time. Muqiqi thought that he was not going there to fish. He was going there to reassure Grandpa and Dad. Even if he was not the crown prince of Huang Yao, he could still give her a stable life. Muqiqi felt warm and took the initiative to bite his lips. Why do you like me so much? Being bitten by Muqiqi, Xing Zhao's bones softened. He hugged Muqiqi. How can I like you more? When they reached the bedroom, Muqiqi was placed on the bed. But, she suddenly remembered the birthday gift Qianqian gave her. She blushed and said to Xing Xiao, Why don't we try the gift Qianqian gave her? Xing Zhao's eyes darkened instantly. Mu Chichi looked a little unnatural and embarrassed. I don't want to waste things. Xing Xiao lifted Mu Chichi's chin and bit the tip of her nose. As you wish. Then, there was only endless moaning and panting in the bedroom. An ambiguous atmosphere instantly filled the entire space. The next day, Huang Yao's situation continued to deteriorate. At that time, Xing Xiao drove Mu Chichi to the Shen family. When Grandpa Shen saw them, he knew about the fight between Xing Xiao and Grandpa Shen. He couldn't help but snort. At this time, Shen Jianchuan was doing rehabilitation. This was the first time Mu Chichi saw Shen Jianchuan doing rehabilitation. With his daughter's encouragement, Shen Jianchuan did even better than usual. Why did you suddenly return? It's the holidays, so I came back to see you and Grandpa. Mu Chichi smiled. Xiao Xiao is talking to Grandpa. This kid. Shen Jianchuan knew Xing Xiao's intention and laughed. Why did he have to come all this way? Don't the Shen family know what he is capable of? It can be said that I've taken you seriously. Aren't you happy that someone is so nice to your daughter? Shen Jianchuan reached out and patted Mu Chichi's head. It was his daughter's obedient head. Of course, he gradually acknowledged Xing Xiao. At least, this kid had more backbone and courage than he did in the past. No matter what happened, he would protect his woman first. That was the responsibility a man should have. The father and daughter were chatting in the rehabilitation room while Grandpa Shen was fishing with Xing Xiao. From time to time, Grandpa Shen would look at Xing Xiao. Are you going to keep fighting with your grandfather like this? If I don't acknowledge it's challenging my bottom line. Xing Xiao replied calmly. Whoever hurts my heart, I'll make them suffer. Grandpa Shen smiled when he heard that. Since you have the time to stay at home, you should stay for a few more days. The fish in my pond are very fat. Sure. Xing Xiao agreed. As a matter of fact, he should have informed Su Zipei about the small mansion as well, but she would definitely not be well informed about the Xing family. That was why he would bring Mu Chichi to stay there for a few days to make the little one happy. After wiping her father's face, Mu Chichi and Shen Jianchuan went to Grandpa Shen's fish pond. When she saw that they were really fishing, she suddenly felt that such a life was actually quite good. The family would always be together no matter what. At night, after dinner, Huang Yu held Mu Chichi's hand while Shen Jianchuan chatted with Xing Xiao in the yard. What if old Xing doesn't acknowledge Mu Chichi for the rest of his life and forbid you from getting married? What do you mean? You won't let me marry into your family? Xing Xiao asked Shen Jianchuan in return. Shen Jianchuan gave Xing Xiao a thumbs up at his answer. You win. If Grandpa Xing knew what Xing Xiao was thinking, he would probably go mad with rage. But Shen Jianchuan could not care less. Compared to the friendship between the two families, his daughter's happiness was more important. In fact, Xing Xiao was really a magical person. It seemed that no one in the world could do anything to him, but he had a weakness, Xiao Qi. At 10 o'clock, Mu Chichi finally finished chatting with Huang Yu. Then, she went to the yard and said to Xing Xiao and Shen Jianchuan, it's time to rest. It was the first time Mu Chichi stayed at the Shen family's house, even though she was already a Shen. There were many rooms in the yard, and Grandpa Shen only needed to make some arrangements. After turning off the lights, they lay on the bed. Mu Chichi could not help but ask Xing Xiao, what did you and Dad talk about? We talked about when you can marry me. Xing Xiao kissed Mu Chichi's forehead. We talked about how we can be together for a long time in this lifetime. The moon was shining brightly in the sky. It was supposed to be the time to rest. But, sixth brother was still working overtime in the company. It was because he was not as capable as Xing Xiao. In the past, he would not be able to finish Xing Xiao's workload in 3 days. And this was just the basic work. When the other party heard that Huang Yao had changed the person in charge, he did not talk to him at all. He directly hung up the phone and cancelled the cooperation. Sixth brother was miserable beyond words. In just 2 or 3 days, he was on the verge of breaking down. More importantly, he complained to Grandpa Shen the next day. He said that he could not finish so much work. He did not know what Xing Xiao had said to the other party, but they did not talk to him at all. Grandpa Shen's face darkened. He knew what kind of situation Huang Yao was in after Xing Xiao left. I have overestimated you. You can't even finish Xing Xiao's basic work. Chapter 324. Was it so easy to be the crown prince of Huang Yao? Grandpa Xing's face was gloomy. In the end, he could only agree. After all, he could not bring himself to look for Xing Xiao. Moreover, he was the one who wanted to replace Xing Xiao. Because he said that he did not believe that Huang Yao's operations would be a problem without Xing Xiao. Mama Xing heard their conversation outside the door. She could not help but sneer. She wanted to see how long sixth brother could hold on. He would not shed a tear until he saw the coffin. During breakfast, Grandpa Xing said to everyone, all of you know that the Xing family has an unfilial son. To let sixth brother get started as soon as possible, all of you should cooperate with him and let him get used to Xing Zhao's original job as soon as possible. Is there a problem? No problem. Mama Xing spread her hands and replied. Eldest aunt, it's impossible for you to help me sincerely. Sixth brother said coldly to Mama Xing. I will help you 100% sincerely. Whether he is a mule or a horse, we will know once we take him out for a walk. Mama Xing got up from the dining table. You all can eat. I am full. In fact, Grandpa Xing did not only let sixth brother take over Xing Zhao's position. He also found the best team in the country to help him negotiate the contract smoothly. But even so, Mama Xing did not care about sixth brother. There would be an important business deal coming from Germany soon. Xing Xiao had already arranged to meet them. But now that sixth brother was the person in charge, he would be the one to negotiate the deal. This time, she wanted to let Grandpa Xing know that there were some things that not everyone could do. Which multinational company did not have strict checks and balances in their core departments? But all these years, Xing Xiao alone had replaced the entire department. Grandpa Xing also knew the importance of this cooperation. He told sixth brother to deal with it carefully. To not give the other party a chance to hang up on him, sixth brother did not tell them about the replacement of the person in charge. He still sent people to receive them. However, he didn't know how hateful his deceit was in the eyes of the other party. Mama Xing told Xing Xiao about it. But Xing Xiao was fishing at the Shen family's house. He looked very relaxed. If Huang Yao loses this deal, then in Germany, the network that you've worked so hard to build will be ruined. Whatever. Xing Xiao answered directly. This also means that Huang Yao's sales for the second half of the year will shrink significantly. It's not my company. I don't care. That's good too. Only by making the old man feel pain will he know what it means to admit defeat. Mama Xing also supported her son. You don't have too much fun. If the old man finds out, won't he get angry? Mom, you don't have to call me for anything in Huang Yao in the future. Just do as you see fit. Alright, Mom will let you have a good holiday. You must take good care of Chi-Chi. If he did not take care of her, who would? A day later, it was time for the meeting. Mama Xing kept her promise and did her best to help sixth brother, helping him understand the project and letting him know how important it was to Huang Yao. Sixth brother felt as if he was facing a great enemy, but he had no choice but to bite the bullet and fight. However, the man asked him directly, "Who are you?" "We're here to discuss this deal with Mr. Sheng." "I'm sorry. Because of some sudden matters, Xing Xiao is no longer in charge of the project. I will take over everything for the time being. Even so, I will still give you the best service." When the man heard that, he immediately closed his laptop. Nothing if it's not Xing Xiao. How many people came here because of Xing Xiao's name? Sixth brother might not know it. But, no buts. Nothing if you don't see Xing Xiao. What's wrong with Huang Yao? The contract was going well just now and you suddenly changed the person in charge? It's fine if you change the person in charge, but why didn't you inform us in advance? What right does an irresponsible company like you have to work with us? The Germans valued integrity the most. Naturally, they felt uncomfortable when they saw Huang Yao behaving like this. I think you are liars. Complete liars. How could sixth brother stand such provocation? Seeing that the man was so determined, he could only give up. Then, I can only express my deep regret. Both parties parted on bad terms. Sixth brother did not even have the chance to look at the documents, let alone work together. Not only that, the man booked a return ticket that afternoon and called Huang Yao for the last time. I really can't imagine any company doing worse than you. It's not like we haven't experienced the change of the person in charge when we were talking about a deal. But did Huang Yao find such a person to replace Xing Xiao? If that's the case, then Huang Yao's road is not far ahead. Even the employees of Huang Yao were discussing in private. What's wrong with the chairman? It's not a big deal to replace the crown prince and the person in charge. But you have to find a suitable person to replace him. Just to show off his supreme position, he completely ignores the board of directors. He is really muddle-headed. Don't sixth young master and seventh young miss have the same parents? Aren't they all good-for-nothings? If this goes on, Huang Yao will be finished sooner or later. Since when did Huang Yao appoint people based on favoritism? The chairman doesn't respect the board of directors at all. On this day, everyone in Huang Yao was boiling with anger. But they did not dare to say anything. When Grandpa Xing knew about this, he was so angry that he held his chest and sat in the study for a long time. Now, he should know his position. Xing Xiao was not begging to be the crown prince of Huang Yao. He was not begging him to be his grandfather. Xing Xiao was now in the Shen family. He fished and slept in every day. His days were so comfortable. He was the one who was anxious. After figuring out the relationship, Grandpa Sheng was even angrier. It meant that he still had to beg that bastard to come back. No, he would never beg Xing Xiao. He had already boasted about it. No matter what, he could not let Xing Xiao be too complacent. Mama Xing knew that Grandpa Sheng had been in the study for a few hours. He must be struggling in his heart. But it did not matter. There was still a follow-up. As long as Grandpa Xing did not admit defeat, Huang Yao would suffer the most. If he liked the supreme position so much, then he should enjoy it to his heart's content. As for Mu Qiqi, she was very happy these 2 days. Xiao Xiao did not have to go to Huang Yao. The two of them were almost stuck together. However, in her heart, she knew very well that this kind of life would not last long. Xiao Xiao still belonged to Huang Yao. But it was definitely not the Huang Yao where Grandpa Sheng could do whatever he wanted. Chapter 325. Xing Xiao was the only genius in Huang Yao for so many years. Grandpa Xing knew that he was smart, so he wanted to make use of his intelligence and control his life. Before this, he did not have such a deep understanding of Xing Xiao's importance. It was thanks to sixth brother replacing eighth brother that the old man could clearly see how much influence Xing Xiao had over Huang Yao. How could he not admit defeat? Of course he had to admit it. After all, he was old, and Xing Xiao still had a long way to go. After thinking for an entire night, Grandpa Sheng could only summon Mama Sheng to his study the next morning. Xiao Qin, let's not talk about anything else. Let's call eighth brother back to stabilize Huang Yao. Mama Sheng snorted in her heart, but she did not show it in front of Grandpa Sheng. Father, you know Xing Xiao's temper. If I ask him to come back, he will definitely not agree. You know what he wants. Could it be that he wants me, his grandfather, to apologize to him? The old man was very angry. There's no need for that. I think sixth brother is adapting very quickly in Huang Yao. I believe it won't be long before he can replace eighth brother. Grandpa Sheng turned around and looked at Mama Sheng. He glared at her. You spoiled him since he was young. That's why he's so lawless. It's my fault for not teaching my son well. So, it's better not to let such an unfilial son come back to Huangyao. After saying that, Mama Sheng left Grandpa Sheng's study. Was she not wronged? She was the same. When Xing Xiao was young, she didn't have the chance to discipline him at all because Grandpa Sheng took care of everything. Ever since Xing Xiao could remember, he had been given all kinds of training and social skills. As his mother, how could she not feel sorry for him? And now, the old man was blaming her for not teaching Xing Xiao well. Grandpa Sheng was helpless. He could only let Papa Sheng do it. After all, he was that unfilial son's father. He would have to listen to him, wouldn't he? Xing Xiao learned about the old man's thoughts from Mama Sheng early in the morning. Naturally, Xing Xiao could tell that there was something wrong with his mother's voice. Are you angry at the old man? I've gotten used to it over the years. The old man wants you to come back, but he doesn't want to admit his mistake. You should stay at your father-in-law's house for a few more days. Xing Xiao's eyes could not help sharpening. Did the old man think he could get over this easily? It probably wouldn't be that easy. After that, Xing Xiao accompanied Mu Qiqi to the recovery room to help Shen Jianchuan with his training. When the doctor saw that Shen Jianchuan was recovering well, he could not help but smile. At this rate, you'll be able to get out of bed and walk in less than a year. For the sake of being able to walk, I will try my best. After that, the doctor left. At that time, Shen Jianchuan saw Xing Zhao's expression. Although he tried his best to hide it, it was easy for a man to feel the dominance coming from him. What's wrong with the Xing family now? The old man wants you to go back, right? It's not that easy, Xing Xiao replied as he squatted down to pick up the tools on the ground. The old man is really something. When you talk about family, he talks about rules with you. When you talk about rules with him, he talks about blood ties with you. So, it's not impossible for me to return. But, this time, I want to state my conditions. What he had done for Huang Yao and the Xing family all these years was taken for granted by Grandpa Sheng, and treated as worthless. Since that's the case, let's talk about the deal. That was what Shen Jianchuan wanted to remind Xing Xiao of. Still, the kid certainly did not need anyone's guidance. In fact, he knew better than anyone else. Trust me. There would be a day when you would walk out of Huang Yao. Are you interested in doing something with your father-in-law? Of course, you don't have to answer me now. For the sake of my daughter, I'll leave a way out for you. Xing Zhao's lips curled up at that. Little one, not only do you have the strongest man, you also have the best father. Huh? Mu Qiqi was not listening to their conversation at all. She was completely confused. Both men were trying to protect the woman they loved the most. In that very moment, there were only father and daughter, husband and wife in that space. That was why there was nothing stronger than the power of love. That afternoon, Papa Sheng personally came to the Shen family. Grandpa Shen had given his study to the father and son, and was fishing with Shen Jianchuan at the pond. Papa Sheng could not help taking a deep breath when he saw his unfilial son, trying his best to hold back his anger. You've had enough of throwing a tantrum. It's time to go home. Why are you hiding here? This is my father-in-law's house. Huang Yao is in a mess because of sixth brother. Are you just going to sit back and do nothing? It's only right for your grandfather to care about you. Enough with the nonsense. Pack your things and go home. You really want me to go home? Xing Zhao's lips curled into a mysterious smile. And a welcoming ceremony for you? Xing Xiao watched his father's back, and only answered him when he was almost out of the study. I want the position of the CEO of Huang Yao and 10% of the shares. Otherwise, you guys can go play yourselves. Papa Sheng was shocked at that, and left the Shen's house without looking back. Was that bastard coveting his own father's position now? Even so, he would not admit that the reason he could sit in that position was because of his son, Xing Shao. Fuming, Papa Xing promptly left the Shen's house. When he returned to Huang Yao, he told the old man the truth about his meeting with Xing Shao today. That unfilial son wants my position and 10% of Huang Yao's shares. Is that something he should covet? When the old man heard that and realized that Xing Shao was bargaining with him, he clutched his chest in anger and coughed violently. Father, are you all right? He is blaming me for replacing him after using him. That's why he wants to increase his cost. You won't agree to it, will you? Papa Xing was a little worried. Although Xing Shao was his son, he still had to make him give up the position of CEO. He's serious. The old man did not answer Papa Xing. Instead, he was filled with regret and heartache. Why would he take the risk if he knew this would happen? All Xing Shao wanted was for him to acknowledge Mu Qiqi. Now, he wanted Xing Shao back. Not only did he have to acknowledge Mu Qiqi, but he also had to give up the position of CEO and 10% of Huang Yao's shares. Who was the loser here? Was there even a need to settle the score? Father, what should I do if you let him be CEO? Do whatever you want. The old man had suffered a double loss. He was already angry enough. How could he be in the mood to arrange Papa Xing's future? Now, all he wanted was for Mama Xing to ask that unfilial son if there was room for negotiation. 10% of Huang Yao's shares was no laughing matter. That unfilial son. He's taking advantage of the situation. But who started the fire? It was not Xing Shao himself. There were some things that should be treated sincerely when it was time to talk about feelings. Even so, some people would unconsciously believe that they were emperors. Chapter 326. Sixth brother was dumbfounded when he heard about it, because he did not expect Xing Shao to be so greedy. So, he went to Mama Xing. Eldest aunt, isn't it too much for Xing Shao to do this? We are a family. Isn't it too much for him to ask for power? When Mama Xing heard that, she turned to sixth brother, her eyes sharp and cold. First of all, when eighth brother worked so hard for Huang Yao, did he ever care about positions and shares? Sixth brother did not say anything. Xing Shao has worked so hard for Huang Yao all these years. What happened? Your grandfather fired him just because he said so. Do you think Xing Shao is a dog? How much has Xing Shao contributed to Huang Yao all these years? Is it too much to ask for the position of CEO and 10% of shares? You don't have to give it to him. You can negotiate the contract yourself. You don't have to be in a dilemma. Mama Xing said sternly. You and your sister, seventh sister, have you contributed anything to Huang Yao all these years? How dare you say that I'm too much? Don't beg him if you are so capable. Mama Xing smashed the glass in her hand. It was the first time she was so angry. Sixth brother did not say anything else when he saw that. Blushing, he slipped away from Mama Xing's sight. Why did he cause trouble for her? Did he not know who he was? This time, Mama Xing did not help her husband. It was what her son deserved. She did not think that Xing Shao was too much. All in all, the Xing family was in a mess because of Xing Zhao's demand for shares. But the Shen family was still calm. Xing Shao accompanied Mu Qiqi for an afternoon nap. In the afternoon, they drove to the small villa to visit Su Zipei. Grandpa Shen had completely angered Xing Shao this time. How could there be such a good thing in this world? He wanted to use him, but he did not respect him. The world was big, and there were many places that respected him. He did not have to stay in Huangyao. In the afternoon, Xing Shao brought Mu Qiqi back to the small villa. Su Zipei was in a good mood when she saw Mu Qiqi. Aunt, how are you? It's rare for both of you to visit me. Young Master Sheng, aren't you busy? Su Zipei rarely saw Xing Shao in the afternoon. It seemed that Lu Wenhua did not tell her about Xing Xiao leaving Huangyao. Xiao Xiao is on leave today to accompany me. Mu Qiqi hurriedly explained, Aunt, I really miss you. Is the baby in my tummy behaving well? Su Zipei nodded and held Mu Qiqi's hand. Your uncle asked the nutritionist to take care of me recently. You have no idea how healthy I am now. That's good. Mu Qiqi could not help but caress Su Zipei's bulging belly. I don't know if you are a younger brother or sister. You must be obedient in your mother's belly. When you get married, the child should be able to walk and run. It'll be very fast, marriage. There was no telling when she could truly become Xiao Xiao's wife. She could do nothing to help the Xing family now, and could only try her best to keep quiet so that she would not be a burden to Xiao Xiao. That night, the two of them stayed over at the small villa. After dinner, Xing Xiao held Mu Qiqi in his arms and enjoyed the night view in the garden of the little mansion. When I had a crush on you, I would get nervous whenever I heard the sound of a car downstairs. You are such a bad girl. You know how to like men at such a young age. Mu Qiqi turned around and glared at Xing Xiao. But you still like a 17-year-old girl. You are an old cow who eats young grass. That's a rough word. As expected of a science student. Mu Qiqi laughed. After a while, she sighed. It's still so far away to register for marriage. Xing Xiao did not say anything. When Mu Qiqi was about to fall asleep, he whispered in her ear, Actually, I have long regarded you as my wife in my heart. Mu Qiqi smiled sweetly. Actually, that was enough. That night, the Xing family held a family meeting. Although everyone was not convinced, Grandpa Xing could only agree to Xing Zhao's condition. Of course, Papa Xing would not agree to it. Father, is this fair to me? You go to the overseas market. Grandpa Xing ordered. Papa Xing was not convinced. He turned to look at Mama Xing. Why don't you help your husband? That bastard is still young. How can he provoke the CEO? I think you are the one who can't provoke the CEO. Mama Xing said directly to her husband. You are my wife. You should be on my side. I'm sorry. This time, I am on my son's side. With that, Mama Xing left the table. Because she had never seen a husband who would fight with his son without caring about his feelings. Papa Xing's face turned red. He almost smashed the table with his fist. Did he marry a woman to harm him? But since it was Grandpa Xing's decision, he had no room to resist. Since his wife was not on his side, he might as well leave the house. He just hoped that his wife and son would not regret it when the time came. After the meeting, Xing Xiao would basically get what he wanted. So, the next day, Grandpa Xing drove his car to the little mansion. When Mu Qiqi saw Grandpa Xing's car, she knew very well that this leisurely life was coming to an end. After a while, Grandpa Xing got out of the car and said to Xing Xiao and Mu Qiqi, Are you done? Xing Xiao and Mu Qiqi said goodbye to Su Zipei and got into Grandpa Xing's car. Then, Grandpa Xing gave Xing Xiao the share transfer certificate and the CEO's letter of appointment. These are the things you want. But Xing Xiao, you don't really care about this little girl. I thought you would threaten me to write some kind of guarantee that I will acknowledge Mu Qiqi. Grandpa Xing deliberately tried to sow discord between them. But Xing Xiao did not panic. He said, You will cheat no matter what agreement I have with you. So, I might as well hold your lifeline in my hands. If you do something to cheat, the 10% of Huang Yao's shares in my hands will be in the hands of my enemy. Grandpa Xing's face turned red when he heard that. Xing Xiao was indeed Xing Xiao. He was really good at calculating. It was useless to know that any guarantee was useless. So, getting the shares of Huang Yao was the best insurance. Since you have achieved your goal, get back to Huang Yao. I will send Mu Qiqi back to Jingting. No. Xing Xiao answered crisply. I believe no one but you. Get out of the car. Grandpa Xing did not care about them anymore. No matter what, Grandpa Xing was bleeding a lot this time. But to everyone in Huangyao, they were naturally happy that Xing Xiao was back. It meant that Huangyao's business would not go wrong again. Chapter 327. Xing Xiao personally escorted Mu Qiqi back to Jingting before driving back to Huangyao. On the way there, Jing Yun told Xing Xiao about the general situation of Huangyao. Xing Xiao promptly told Jing Yun, "Bring up the most urgent matters first. We'll deal with them in the afternoon. Young master, you have to pay attention to the relationship between Madam and Chief Xing. They seem to be at odds because of you." Jing Yun reminded Xing Xiao. Got it. It was precisely because he knew that the first thing Xing Xiao did when he entered the company was to visit his mother. "Mom, I knew you'd come back soon." Mama Xing smiled. "You're the CEO of Huangyao now." "Dad, don't mind him." Mama Xing said stiffly. "I'm just disappointed in him." "That means he still has feelings." Mama Xing said nothing, but Xing Xiao got the key point. That was why he gave his father a call after he left Mama Xing's office. Papa Xing had booked a plane ticket for the evening, but he was not in a hurry after he received Xing Xiao's call. Because Xing Xiao was right. Huangyao's reputation in the country was enough now, and the most important thing now was to expand their business overseas. It was precisely because Huangyao's headquarters had matured that the Xing family would want a piece of the pie. Papa Xing would not be able to handle it alone, and it was better to leave it to him. Papa Xing would go overseas to nurture new forces, and they would have the final say in Huangyao from now on. Papa Xing thought that it made sense, and knew very well where his ability lay. Surely it was better to let his son take over than to be forced to leave it to his brothers, was it not? That was why Papa Xing readily agreed to Xing Xiao's suggestion. You weren't interested in the position before. What happened now? Nothing. It's just fun. To put it bluntly, Grandpa Xing had tricked him, and he knew that having real power was the best way to protect Qi. If that was the case, why wouldn't he want it? Even so, he kept the answer in his heart. Everyone in Huangyao was instantly energized when they saw Xing Xiao in the office, and the departments were no longer lifeless. Although sixth brother would not admit it, ability trumps everything in Huangyao. The first thing Xing Xiao did when he returned to his office was to deal with the urgent cooperation. The steps that sixth brother could not take, the words that he could not say, and the negotiating skills that he could not use were all displayed before sixth brother one by one. Sixth brother admitted defeat and left Huangyao dejectedly. Not only did he fail to find his sister, he even made Grandpa Xing give him 10% of the shares. What a heavy loss. When the old man saw that Xing Xiao had successfully redeemed several important collaborations in the first afternoon after his return to Huangyao, he was a little comforted despite his reluctance. Still, Mu Qiqi's matter remained a thorn in his heart. Late at night, Jing Yun was held up by Huangyao's matters and could not fetch Xing Minglan from work. Knowing that Xing Xiao had returned to Huangyao, she did not call him and stayed in the office. Seeing that Xing Minglan had no intention of getting off work, the new assistant knocked on the door and entered. "Chief Xing, I think I should take a few days off next month." "What's the matter?" "I'm getting married," the assistant said. "I've been dating my girlfriend for 8 years. So, we're planning to start a family." "Then, I wish you all the best. You should hurry up too." Xing Minglan blushed and nodded. Soon, Jing Yun arrived at Xing Minglan's office, but it was already dark outside. "Sorry, I'm late. Let's go for dinner now." "Jing Yun, let's go to my house tonight," Xing Minglan suggested awkwardly. "Although we're together now, I keep feeling that you don't spend as much time alone with me as you used to avoid suspicion. Are you afraid?" Jing Yun's expression was a little unreadable. After a while, he answered, "I'm afraid. I can't control myself." Xing Minglan understood what he meant and blushed even more. We're partners. Let nature take its course. Why do you have to control yourself? Jing Yun said nothing. They had a tacit understanding. Soon, they arrived at Xing Minglan's house. Xing Minglan took out the slippers she had prepared and put them in front of Jing Yun. These are for you. Jing Yun changed into the slippers and Xing Minglan put on her apron. I'm going to cook. You can rest for a while. I'll help you. Jing Yun took off his jacket and rolled up his sleeves. Then, they entered the kitchen together. The atmosphere was very warm. They were like partners who had been together for a long time. They cooperated very well. But when he saw Xing Minglan's back, Jing Yun couldn't help but hug her. Xing Minglan was stunned for a moment. Then, she smiled. So, you can't control yourself? Yeah. Jing Yun grunted and put his chin on Xing Minglan's shoulder. My new assistant came to ask for leave today. He's getting married soon. Xing Minglan smiled. So, I suddenly want to get married too. Jing Yun's body froze just like that. Did I scare you? Of course, you shouldn't be willing to marry me yet. However, if we wait for the right time, I don't know how many years it will take. So, for a moment, I thought, why don't we register our marriage secretly? Even if Grandpa wants to stop us, he can't do anything about it. I don't want you to suffer like this. Jing Yun replied. And I don't want you to be so sneaky. Jing Yun, have you ever thought about looking for your family? Jing Yun shook his head. His memories were only fragments before Xing Minglan brought him back to the Xing family. Why don't I help you look for them? Jing Yun said nothing. He simply hugged Xing Minglan. After they had dinner, Xing Minglan did not let him leave. You, move here. This time, Jing Yun was completely dumbfounded. Xing Minglan couldn't help asking him, you don't want to? I just think it's a little fast. You've liked me for more than 10 years. That's already slow enough for us. How much more time do we have to waste? I want to be with you now. Not just the time after work. I want to occupy your evenings too. How could Jing Yun refuse such a proposal from his lover? I like to be clean. I'm not sloppy. I'll be a good roommate. Jing Yun said after a long while. In fact, he felt very guilty. He wouldn't complain even if he was sent to hell in the future. You're tuning into the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.